Unleash your freedom, round two. What's up? Welcome, guys, to the most powerful conversation of your lives. I'm not even kidding. This is going to be life-altering if you allow it. I know that there can be some weird things about this information, like, come on, a letter is going to change my life. And I was kind of like that as well, too. So just in case you're feeling a bit of that hesitation or a bit of that wondering if this is really going to work, I'll tell you something. Your business works if you do. This is not a lottery. This is not a gamble. This is not like a mystical hope to the gods that we're going to be successful. You have to set your intention the same way you throw a rock into the water. It's going to create ripples. Okay, so you have to understand that the bigger you throw a rock, or if you just quickly chuck one thing in, it's not going to make much moves. But if you just keep jamming a bigger rock in there, not only do you get stronger every time you throw down a vibration, but the waters around you, the universe around you feels you. So in case you guys are wondering a little bit about me, I've been with Enagic since 2014. I'm on my last legs to 6A right now. My next sale gets me there. So I'm with you guys. I've been with this program for a while. I took a detour. I went into my numerology business. I went into spiritual coaching, because of what this thing afforded for us, okay? It started with Balaj. He put the W in his name, but he also put in 5 years of effort, 5 years of hard work, 5 years of just like grindstone from one company to the next, door-to-door sales to sales director to regional, and then, he leaves TELUS as a telecommunications company in Canada and goes to build off his own organization. When I joined, there was about 150 of us, and now we're over 10,000. So I'd like to think he's done something right. And man, this is so super cool. This is going to be awesome what happens next. When I got a chance to take a look at my numerology, I got a chance to see I've got big ambitions for business, but I was missing the bank on my way to success. I was giving it away to other people. Everyone else was enjoying my success but me. And that was like a really big challenge, because I was like, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want my success. But my numbers were basically inside out, upside down, and backwards. And I had the numbers, but I was wearing them inside out, upside down, backwards. So what I found was when I looked at numerology, when I got this person to tell me how I was as a kid, how I respond to stress, how I respond to all the negativity in my child, why do I have negative relationships with myself and others? What's the play? What's the inventory? What are the cast members doing in the play or the movie of my life? What was the environment of it? It gave me a full self-awareness, a full embodiment of my languaging to myself, and I got a chance to just quietly tweak the vibe over to the way that I wanted it to be. And since then, I've lost my damn mind. I've been like, I gotta light up my address, I gotta light up my phone number, I have to make sure my website, even my ad copy, and when I go in for content, I want to make sure every sentence looks good and everything just smooths like butter, because I recognize what this did for me. I went from addictions, living at home at 31, unable to hold a job or relationship, even barely able to hold a conversation, to now being a father of 4. I've got a beautiful wife. We have a brand new car. We live on the island. It's beautiful out here. Come and see me. I'll cook for you guys. Life's good, and we absolutely love where we're going next. I got my app, my podcast, been featured on books, been featured on other people's podcasts. It's been crazy. I got a really cool building list of pretty neat stuff I've done. But what I really want to do is help you guys create a magnetism of wealth inside of your charts. Now, it's weird. I just said a couple of cool words. Magnetism of wealth. Now, I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to see the replay of what happened last time, but I'll just quickly give you guys a bit of a crash course in what's happening here. We took names that were all in the red. You guys can see your names are in a need of alignment, and we basically gave it the boost up, and we worked through one of them at a time, and we worked through making sure they all look good. But when I talk about magnetism to wealth, I look at these digits here. Actually, I think I have it here. I look at these numbers, okay? These numbers here for wealth and love, the bottom of the screen. We get a chance to see that 4 is going to be the mechanical version of love, okay? So this is like, take a hammer, take a nail, and hit it. And then take another hammer, take another nail, and hit it. Then you've got the emotion of wealth. And this is kind of like having a nail gun. You just like click a button and it goes click and pam, pam, pam. And you can get a lot more done a lot faster. There's an emotional awareness there. There's a mechanism in place that does this for you. Then there's the magnetism of wealth. And this is like let me hire some contractors. If I hire 10 people, they all got nail guns, we can get this house built in a quarter of the time. Instead of me going every single nail by nail, oh, my hand is getting tired. This is what we do. We clock in, we clock out, we go to our job, we faithfully put in the time and we put in the effort, and it creates wealth very slowly. But as we go to the magnetism side, this is what and when I found numerology, this was the whole point, was to make sure that your entrepreneurial phase, because if you say entrepreneur, you're like, well, I start businesses, I create businesses. And that's a really different vibration than I run my own business, or I work my own wealth, or I work my own job. So we want to move all of you guys into a vibration where the last number here expresses a magnetism to wealth. Without it, there's going to be a challenge of communication. Forget magnetism and wealth. This is like, I can't get through the glass, and I can see my success, but I'm stuck on the other side of it. And what the hell? Why is this thing not working? Why is this thing not able to get through? Look, my meal is right there. I can see it. I have it in my vision. Or even some people are like blindfolded, and we have, I can't trust myself, or I don't think highly of myself. I don't know what's going on. I can't get past myself in some weird way, shape, or form. And this also happens when we have -1s, -5s, -7s, -3s. All of these numbers are showing up in the negative. And we're like, okay, that's not uncommon. Mine did. I mean, everybody gets a chance to, I mean, whose parents knew, you know, Pythagorean numerology, where you could say, like, what is that? It's like the study of the spiritual psyche of all of the different character traits and personality stuff that shows up in your name. Like, nobody knows this. And so when you guys have this as a secret weapon, this is an absolute hidden tool that you're not going to learn in school. They're never going to teach this. I've come to terms with that. We're not going to get into elementary school with this. They don't want us to know this. There is a freedom aspect in here. This is the elite, the occult, the power. Like, I don't mean to say that in a negative way. The very, very powerful top 1% of the planet know this, and they're not going to share it with the rest of the world. So I'd like to think that we are bringing a divine conversation back down to us, everyday people. We're freeing each other, and we're going to make something happen in here. But you guys, you can't do this to me. You have to do this to you. You have to commit to yourself and say, no matter what it takes, no matter what I do, I'm going to make something happen. 1111. If you can get any more, mystical and magical than that, we're experiencing 1111 right now, which is a really cool feeling to think that angels have descended. This is an angel thing. I'm very, very spiritual. As you guys will see, I get into this. There's a divine math. So when I see numbers like that, I get the universe thumbs up, being like, drum roll, please. Let's do this. That's that feeling of the universe saying, let's get something done. Now, just to be fair, I'm right now, November 30th, 2019. Okay, that's where I'm at in the world. And when I add this all up, I see a number 11 for the month, a number 3 for the day, and a number 3 for the year. If I add that up, it equals out to 8. So today's a big day. Today's the magnetic day of let's get some stuff happen. This is a profitable day. When we get a chance to work together on vibrational energy like this, we get a chance to rip open the abundance and rip open the time-space continuum and to put in that infinite state. So be careful about the things that you say today. Every time you see that 8, it's like, whoop, this magic wand just appears out of nowhere. And whatever you say just sort of like starts zapping like we're like Harry Potter or something. Like it's magic. So we have to be very careful because these words, there's a reason why we call it spelling. They are magical spells. And so we want to make sure we find that right vibration. Even if it's just a small little quick crank of one way or the other, we have to make sure that this thing works for us in a very powerful way. So I'm super blessed that you guys are here with me and you guys are taking this journey with me. This is not the first time I've done this, and it's definitely not the last time I'm going to do a group session, but I just want to let you guys know you guys are in good hands. I appreciate you guys. Just to be fair, you guys are paying my family to survive. You guys are giving me the ability to build my brand. I'm helping you guys in a really big way because you guys are helping me in a really big way. So I don't just look at you guys like a bunch of numbers. When I see this as a code for the godlike soul energy that has descended to this. We're consciousness, and we're all out here to do something extraordinarily powerful for each other. So I appreciate you guys for opening the space up for me. I speak to your highest abundance. This is a very, very sacred, sacred space. And if you guys have questions or if you guys have comments, you put them in the chat. I look at the chat, looks like we're already up in here. So it says here, Brett, okay, Aaron, thank you so much. Sorry, video isn't working. It's okay, Patricia, we can feel you even though we can't see you. You got to let me know, though, if it's Patia or Pasha, how do you like to say your name when we close it down? Also, Aaron, click on your name and you can change it. Yes, if you guys want to make your names changed, you can do that. Birth name is Henry. Sorry, Harry. So we're going to go, I usually have a little bit of time for correcting some mistakes there. But I appreciate you, Paul, for letting me know. Actually, I've been seeing 1111 for so long. What I would do, if you do that, if you see 1111 all the time, just kiss the sky. Just go ahead and sit down for a minute. I set my alarm. So I'm like cheating here. I'm like, no, I'm going to catch it every day. I catch 1111, 1010, 909, 808, 11, 222, 333, 444. 555. You can't catch 666. Doesn't make sense, right? But 707, 808. So I basically set my alarm on my phone to go off every hour because you never know when you're going to need a little bit of spiritual reset. Okay. Laura says, I have a lead who just tattooed 1111 on her arm. That is commitment. Okay. I'm probably not going to go that far, but I am a life path 11. Does that kind of catches, right? So Aaron says, for the past month, I've been catching 222, 555, 11. See, honestly, when you see these numbers, like this is how I would interpret that. She's like saying 222, divine levels of partnership. We have like the universe saying, I'm here to help you. Just call it in. Let me know what you need. Then 555. I see, get ready for a shift. Get ready for a switch. You need to change. You need to get up and go for a run. You need to move. And when we see 1111, it's this big spiritual hug that says what you are doing right now reverberates through the ego of time. So what your level of who you are gets a chance to go and it's like being trapped in two mirrors and you see there, like it goes everywhere, right? So Patch is saying, my bro was born 11/11/83. So this is his numerological birthday today where we get it. Oh no, sorry. 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Okay. So it would have been yesterday, but that's a wonderful feeling to have a vibration of 1111. That's an angel. That's a really powerful feeling that comes in. So cool. I'm just going to quickly, Paul says it's an E in my last name and not an E. Oh, L-E. Thank you, man. Okay. I only get a few of these. So Paul, I've gotten two, you've taken 2 mistakes of mine. So I don't have any room for more. It's just one more that I get a chance to make, but I appreciate you. So we're going to go Gerard, Paul, and help me out if I said that right or not. Harry, right? So we're going to go, and then that's a good name, by the way. So just in case, because we're gonna start peeking out names here. We're gonna take a look at them. Gerard Paul Henry is not a bad vibration, just in case we sit with that. How about LeBlanc? Okay, so we take a look at that one. Ooh. Okay, so we'll have some thoughts. Okay, we'll definitely this is frustrating. So we'll definitely take a look at this. I can see why there are money blocks or storage in that vibration of thinking I can't communicate my wealth. Not after today. We're going to move some of these over. Some of you guys may even consider legal name changes. That's a big deal. Today, we'll just talk about your Facebook call name. Take a look at your business name. It's fine. We'll make sure that those are going to be okay. But we do want to make sure that you have at least these guys to start. Maybe 2 years, 3 years down the road, we'll take a look at changing your name legally. If it's in the cards. I have yet to change my legal name. I put a different version of my name on my marriage certificate because I knew this one was not good for my wealth, my health, or my love life. But I wanted to make sure that I had something more powerful. So I just snuck an S in there. And if you kind of look at it, it's like, what? It didn't even change anything. It basically was just the same vibration. It's the same word, it's the same letter, but it's just a subtle little difference. And sometimes that's all it takes. So what we're going to do, this is what we did last time, was we worked through everybody's name line by line. And when we do this, you're going to experience, I'm just going to share, I know I shared this in the round 1. So in case you haven't seen it, I'll quickly just go over this. When I work with somebody one-on-one, this is what it looks like. We get a chance to actually take a look and see, I'll show my chart because obviously it's fair if I use mine. we see a bunch of different energy pieces. My middle name, my first name, my last name, my called name, the way I show up, the way my birthday shows up. You see a spread of like 6 or 7 different levels of different numbers. When we're doing a group session, there's only 1, 2, and 3, 4 sets of numbers. So we're not getting the full on open the closet, open the attic, get into the basement, see what's going on in there. You have a lot more numbers to you than what we're just looking at. We're looking at where you started. So this is your birth name. So in case anyone here needs to make any adjustments, you let me know. Then we're looking at what you show up with today and how you show up for in business. So it's kind of like a little bit of a hop and a skip. So when I'm talking about Aaron Fisher and, you know, like let's say the vibration that Patricia has, Alice, is also going to match that. We're going to see that what I say to Aaron is going to affect how Patricia feels about herself. This is huge. This cannot be, you can't do this in a private session. In a private session, we're going off and we're talking about how this thing shows up in every single piece and form of where it is. Inside of a group session, you get a chance to vicariously live through someone else's energy. And just to be fair, Ashley says, Ashley R. McPherson. So let's make sure the R is in there. Okay, and then if I need to update the vibration there, I will, which I don't because the R is a very interesting letter. It keeps the vibe the same. We'll talk about that. But when I get a chance to live vicariously through someone else's energy, like let's just look at it this way. Let's see if I can pull up an example. I'll pull mine back up. I have the number 1. I have the number 2. I'm missing the number 3. I also have a number 4. It's showing up as a 22. 4 is there. I have a 5, I have a 6, I have a 7, I have an 8, I have a 9, I have an 11, I got a double 7 in there, I got a double 2. So you see that I, like quickly at a glance, I have I have the full deck of numbers. We're all like this. We all have a rainbow of existence inside of our chart. So when you get a chance to see that, like, oh, I don't see that, he's talking about someone else, but I feel it. It's because you have that number somewhere in your zone. And there's like a very small window of alignment. So this is like the code of, you know, alignment. We want to be at the mastery level. We want to be in the purple or in the black. We want to absolutely have a power zone strike through vibrational alignment. This is why you have those things like, oh, there's the 80-20 rule. 9 out of 10 businesses fail. You know, there's all of the top 1%. Well, you look at alignment and it's like, well, there's a lot of places you could land. And there's only a few places that are actually going to show up with magnetism towards wealth. So when I looked at our time together, I've come up with a cool little, you know, option list of how things work. This was just a quick jam a letter and you're good. We're going to go over it line by line. I like to find pieces of your name that do not look weird. Okay, so I'm not going to try to add a weird Z in Frederick Z Anderson. Like this, you know, it might work for Zoe, but it may not work for Fred because it's like, well, I don't know about that. But see, we got Frederick. We can use, there's the other one you use, Robert, Rob, right? There's a bunch of different variances that we can come across. So you, and just as you, have multifaceted directions towards who you are. And yes, so Aaron says, so we are absorbing others' numbers and energy into our transmissions. I'd like to think that you're getting a chance to see your energy inside of someone else's numbers, and by the observer effect, okay, this is super quantum right now, you observing someone else's chart allows them to heal by the universe inside of you paying attention to what's happening in front of you. So I bless you guys and appreciate you guys for doing that. You may want to take a walk, a nap, or a run, or do something, or write them out of your life, or whatever it is after this to express some of that energy. Go hug your dog, kiss your wife, kiss your husband, whatever it is, because we're doing this together. And if you and I were to pull this car, it'd probably take a lot of force and energy. But if I had, I don't know, let's say 10 of us, just all, you get this side, you get this side, you get this side, it's going to lift pretty quickly and pretty easily because we've got much more power all focusing in on our digital campfire. So yes, absolutely. It does work on the healing for you, but it'll also work on you absorbing or being aware of energy and others that exists inside of you too. So be healed by it. And it'll be nice to sort of sit in the background while you're watching someone else going through something that you may be a little embarrassed to express yourself. It's okay. That's why we're all human beings here. So I appreciate you guys being here with me. Let's get started. Let's do this. I would definitely recommend that you guys take a look at what happened on the first call. Just by a show of comments, is there anyone who has not seen the first 45 minutes of the last replay? I don't want to skip over it. So, okay, Ashley, not two is enough. Okay, I definitely need to go over this. So I want to make sure you guys understand this is the math class that you never got in high school, okay? So I would definitely still suggest you watch the first one. You'll get a lot from it. But this is you need to know this. These colors, these numbers, and for those who are color coded, the only thing you really need to focus on is these two colors, okay? These column F, G, H, and I, okay? These sides here are more for me, and they correspond to these numbers, but I'm still working on a better color scheme because I know I've borrowed some colors here. But the ones that you guys are paying attention to are the green, the blue, the purple, the black, the red, or the yellow that show up here, okay? So those are the ones that are most important. The other ones are so that I know which numbers you guys are. That's on this side. So when we take a look at the numbers chart, we see 1, 2, and 3. These are junior numbers. They talk about the self. And when we talk about the self, we think of 1 as leadership. This is independence, confidence. This is that sense of being a leader. The number 2 shows up as a partner. So the vibrational energy is going to move. We're talking about consciousness. So the first thing, God, the Big Bang, I am, God vibration. The one, I am the one. And this is the ego, the sense of who I am. And we have to take a level of independence in there. When it shows up in the red, so all you guys have red ones in there, it's a lack of sense of self. So every number has a good and a bad side to it. The lack of the one will be like, I'm not good enough, or I don't know about myself, or how come I can't see who I truly am? I don't stand up for me. It'll be a little bit angry about how you recognize yourself. It's a negative vibration of the 1. Then we have the 2. This one also shows up. On the positive side, we see partner, I'll do anything for you. It's okay, I'm here with you. Let's be friends. These are good friends to have. We've got no life path 2s other than myself, but we don't even have anyone. Sarah's born in November. That kind of counts, right? In your birthday. But all the red 2s there on the negative side says, I would rather do for you than do for me. Or I need your approval. Or I need to make sure that someone else likes me in order for me to like myself. Trust me on that. That's a tough one. That sucks. Because that's like, we give ourselves up so that other people can feel better about who we are. And if my kids or my wife don't like me, suddenly I'm having a bad day. If everyone is mad at me or nobody receives me, I'm going to feel like I'm doing something wrong. And that's like, you don't do that. That's a very challenging, like Ashley will tell you, like she's a life path 1. She's going to be like, no, you got to stand up for yourself. And there's a really strong vibe there of independence. So that's a really good vibe to have. That's why I'm friends with my 1s, because they're always telling me, no, you got to stand up for you. I'm like, thank you. I should. But then therein lies my 2. It says someone's acknowledged me. And it's because they wouldn't do what I'm doing. And so that 2 inside of my chart, hey, it affects me. I get it. I love myself anyway. But the biggest relationship you have to create is the one with you. And so on the positive side, mentors, partners, coaches, let's do this together. On the negative side, I don't do things for myself the way I want to. Come into the 3. This is where we start to see love. Now, love shows up. So we've got, remember, these 2 conversations between wealth and love. Okay, so the mechanical version of wealth would be let's get a job. The infant version of love is baby, sweetheart, darling, creative, artist. I just want to express myself. I want to be a ballet dancer. I want to be a break dancer. I want to be a music artist. I want to go and play music. I want to have an instrument. I want to just go and enjoy the feeling of love and enjoyability right now, right here, right now. It's the presence of love. And this is where we have super good looking or very lovely or very like socially accepted. The 3s show up and they want to look young, feel young, and they don't want to get older. On the negative side, this is where worry comes in. Because if they're like, oh my God, what if she doesn't like me? What if he doesn't like me? What if they don't buy? What if I can't, what if my bills are going to say? I can't think that far ahead because I'm only focused on the self and the now. So it can get very difficult because it's going to show up saying, I'm okay. But then the challenge, maybe I should do this. What I really want to do is I want to open this up a little bit so you guys can get a good scope of understanding that you guys have these numbers. They're all inside for you. And this is the stuff you're kind of born with. Keep going back up. Like, all this stuff is the stuff that you're born with. So when we take a look at this, we see that your birthdays, you can't change them. Your birth name, you got it on your birthday. Nobody here is on the first day of we're already years old. So these are numbers that were set in stone, and now we're moving away from it through the canals of time. But when we take a look at this, these are concepts that appear in your chart. So there's the 3 there. This is the worry. And like, I don't know, I don't know. Yeah, but what if it doesn't? And this that fog that we can't see from. And it'll also keep up a really good face. So it'll make people think it's okay when really there could be some challenges that are happening underneath. Then we get into the intermediate numbers, 4, 5, and 6. These set of numbers now start to go outside of the self and into its, let's say you've got 3 stages, okay? There's inside your body, there's inside your field, or like inside your house, and then there's outside of your house. So you've got 3 separate stages of existence. I'd like to say there's a 4th stage, the mastery, where we get to double digits. We'll get there. But the 4, 5, and 6 now are the intermediate numbers, and no longer junior. So we're going to start to introduce some bigger concepts here. We see the 4, time is money. Let's be logical. The 3 was, I'm going to dance. And the 4 is like, stop it. Give me a ruler and give me the notes, and let me take the data. So if you've got 4s in your chart, you may be taking notes right now. You may be feeling like, I want to internalize this. How do I know this? How are you doing this? So what does that mean? And like to really start to intellectualize a lot of this stuff, we see the 4 is not afraid to take a study. It's not afraid to read a book. It's not afraid to go and get the thing done. Looking at stuff says, I can reverse engineer that. I'm going to go build it. I'm not afraid of hard. Roll up your sleeves. Let's get this done. And it wants to build something. So we see this feeling here. Erin says, Ashley, I see you taking notes. I saw her chuckling there. Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. I have, and we see the mastery in there, it shows up as well. So it's nice to have that. Erin's got a 4 in there. Don't act like, okay, but Ashley's got a big 4 in there. That's a 22. So the mastery numbers squeeze down into small ones too. But it's nice to see that. This is that feeling of, if you build it, they will come brick by brick. So we can trust these people's work. We can trust them. But it's just that feeling of, if I haven't done it, because now we go to the negative side, then I don't know what I'm doing. If I don't have the experience, someone else isn't going to listen to me. And if I haven't done it myself, why would someone else? And they're like, I need to know everything before I can do anything. And that's like learning about the gears and the spokes and the handlebars and how is this rubber made and what about the seat? It's like, just get on the bike and ride it and fall down a few times before you can worry about the materials later. Just pedal and pedal hard. And that's where we get to that number 5, which is about, who cares about how it's done? The 4 wants to say, no, be nice and patient and very OCD, right? Or as my wife likes to say, she's a life path 4, CDO in the right order, right? So that feeling of having that things need to go directly one after the next. If you have this, I just want to let you know, it's worth the frustration. If you have a 4, you may be frustrated, you would be aggravated, irritated by people who don't have their shit together. You're still going to get it done. It just may take a little bit longer. And when it does, you'll be satisfied. But we want to get magnetic. We don't want to be mechanical. We don't put pencils in our we're all old enough to know why people put pencils in cassettes, okay? So, we don't do that anymore. We just press play and we just click. And kids these days, they get so, it's like they have to wait 10 seconds for a website and we're like, something's wrong with my internet. I'm like, do you remember when you had to reset your VHS and you had to and it was like, and it was getting that higher pitched noise when you knew it was almost done rewinding. And I'm like, I uncovered my cassette box and I had all of my Disney movies in there. And I'm like, oh man, they remember this. And we even have this for my kids, they still plugged in their VHS. And then every so often they'd rip the tape out and be like, it's done now. You can't use it anymore. It's not going to work anymore. And they're like, why? My tablet does. It just plots it in. And they don't get that same idea. But the 4, it's about cranking the wheel. So we want to get kind of away from it. But when you do have it, just know that thing is that thing is solid. You're building foundations. People will be, I've married one that has a life path 4. So I'm very thankful for the stable ground that she provides me, because that's a wonderful feeling to have in partnership. We appreciate you guys for doing that. But then, of course, the foundation gets walked on, and it's going to be angry about it. So there's a challenge there. And when it shows up in the negative, a feeling of I'm too hard on myself. And this is where the doubt and the I can't do this, no one's going to listen to me, I don't know what I'm talking about, I've got nothing to offer, no value. That's why you need to get stuck in the books. And that's why you never get anything done, because you're stuck in the books. So we really want to keep like a, get shit done in the daytime, learn something in the evening time. That's kind of the way to get around that, okay? Or if you have a strong 4 in your chart, just make lists of stuff, get organized, and start writing down what you need to get done that day and like what you need to accomplish that day. That's one of the best ways to cool the accountant inside of your mind that says, well, we got this, and you have to write an ad and suddenly the dishes need to get done. Or you need to go do a go live and it's like, oh God, I've left the cat on the stove. And it's like all this other stuff comes up and we have to get it done before we can start making moves in our business. That's that 4 attacking you. So just be careful, because it's going to take you 10,000 hours to get there. And that's something people don't really want to hear. They're like, what do I just tell me what I got to write. And I'm like, you got to spend 10,000 hours, clock it in, get your income producing activities. Come see me in 10 years after you've been plugging away. You'll be making millions of dollars. And that's a worthy investment, because you're going to get 10 years older anyway. So we're looking at the 4 being slow and steady wins the race. Let's look at the 5. These are our warriors. Okay, so we've got Fred, we got Paul here. We've got Aaron, the 5 energy. And where does it show up? No, that's it. And then in some of your names as well. These are the runners. They're the ones who want to travel. They're the ones who go through big fights in their life. They're the ones who want to fight for others. It's tough when you take on, you want to be a hero. And I want to be a hero. I got a 5 in my chart. I get it. I absolutely understand what that feels like. But when you fight someone else's fight, it's still your black eye. It's still your wound. It's still you taking that on. So it's exhausting. Frederick's like, yes, I get it. But, there's a pride there, because it's like, if I'm not fighting for someone, if I'm not standing up for someone who doesn't have a voice, I feel like I'm not doing my thing properly. The warrior was meant for the fight. Then the way to get exhausted, get on a plane. And that's expensive. And the problem with the 5s is they're chasing debts. They don't care about creation of wealth. They care about expressing wealth. I want to spend money. I want the nice things. I want to go and just, I don't have money for that. Okay, well, let me buy 2 then. And it's this disassociation from creation of long-term wealth. If it shows up inside of your chart in a bad way, this could be, I don't want to be loyal. I don't want to take a new last name. I don't want to stay in this marriage. I feel like I don't deserve this. I'm going to fight with the people that are close to me. And it can be challenging, because people are going to want to argue with Fred. And it's going to be like, it's tough, because Robert's a good name, and that's like, he knows his shit. So people are still going to challenge him, but then he's going to be like calm, steady, and like, I can outlast you. And that 5 wants to go forever, but the other numbers want to settle down somewhere. So these are our pioneers, our nomads, digital entrepreneurs. They're like, all you need is a laptop and a beach, and you can make money. And that's the idea that the 5 has. It says, I want to change. I want things to move. I don't want them to be up. But this is the massive level of self-doubt. This is, I fight myself. And it can be like the worst enemy is the one between your ears. And that's like, one of the biggest wonderful things of our time together is that we repair that relationship that you have with you. So taking a letter, if that part of you is like, what's that going to do? That's your ego being like, please don't mess up what we have going on here, because I'm seriously good with sacrificing myself and getting high off my own anger and pain. And it works for me because it's comfortable. I'd rather be aware than unknown. Unfortunately, unknown is where the magic happens. So we definitely have a vibration here, powerfully. So Patricia's saying, sorry here, if we could line me up while he's sleeping, that'd be helpful. Good. We'll definitely do that. And I want to make sure we get into that pretty quickly. So as soon as we get through the numbers, we're gonna help Patricia. And I think Aaron also has to get running too. And then also Sarah was here patiently waiting from last session. So I'll try to get you guys in through that. Okay, so 5s. We have a very powerful level of let's get moving. All right, so Patricia, I appreciate you for that. Also, we get a chance to see the number 6. This is the money zone, okay? This is for the parents out there, the healers, the lovers, the ones who want to create wealth. They also want to make love. This is money equals more money, time equals more time, love equals more love. This is where the money and the love story converge. So when we see these vibrations, they give everybody a loving feeling of, I like, care, I'm patient for you, let's do this together. It's emotionally tying in to your love story. So it's labor of love. And it says that I'm going to get this done and I'm going to help people. And there's a really, I use these numbers a lot. So if you look at the higher level numbers here, these guys all have 6s in them. And they're like the mastery levels of numbers. Nothing wrong with the starter kits or the bigger, more entry level points. But there's like, this is easy. And these ones get a little bit more hard and difficult to run. The negative side of the 6, the parents are going to be giving more to their kids than they do themselves. And they take care of everyone else, but they don't take care of themselves properly. And we see like Frederick Robert Anderson Jr., right? -6. This isn't, here you go, here you go, here you go. I take care of you, I'm going to take care of everyone, but I won't be able to take care of myself because I'm too busy fighting myself. And there's a challenge inside of this. Like the biggest beaming heart has got blind sight to himself. And I know what that feels like. I'm born in June. So I get that vibration shows up for people, and it's a wonderful power to have, but it's the worst thing when you have it in the reverse. It's that feeling of lack of self-love, lack of self-worth, and this adds to the exhaustion. So just to be fair, it's not an easy number to run when it's negative, but it's the most powerful, most popular number. So if you need to have it, it's probably because you have kids or want to build a business where you see your baby entrepreneurs become adult entrepreneurs, where they have their own baby entrepreneurs, and you're like, proud of you, son, proud of you, daughter, my business daughter, my business son, and you can just call me your Uncle Bobby, okay? So I'm definitely here to help you guys along your path because I want to see people grow. I want to help you guys as teams. And to think one day Brooke was I lined her up in a group session. It was like back up here somewhere. She was like I think it was on the second one, where we're somewhere in there. But she lined up her name with us, and it was inside of a group. And next thing you know, now we're here, and it's so crazy. I think she just got promoted. She just hit a new rank. Guys, that's you. That's you guys. You guys are the reason why that happened. So I appreciate you guys being here. You are the next generation. Oh man, 2020 is going to be nuts. It's going to be freaking nuts. You got to lock in and just like death grip on this business. Like, I'm going to learn everything I need to. I'm going to absolutely make it happen. The 6, I believe in you guys. Okay, so there's a powerful feeling in there. Then we come to the 7. This one's challenging because now we're looking at the advanced numbers. So we have the intermediate side here, which cares for others. This one is on the mastery side, or the advanced side, I'd say. The 7 is a very quiet number. So we get a chance to see this vibration shows up as intuitive, reflective, quiet. It's not going to say very much. It's going to be a bit more like, I know more than I say, or I can't speak up for myself. So when we see 7s, it can be a challenge to find the right thing to say, especially when it shows up in the negative. Like, I'll pick on Fred here. It says, House of Frederick Incorporated. That 797 is like, my business is dead in the water. And it's not communicating the way it wants to. It's away from wealth. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh boy, like and that's a big one because that's an expensive change. So just to be fair, even Frederick Anderson, he's got good numbers up front, but then when it comes to expression point, it's like cat got your tongue. And it's a challenging vibe to find the self. Even the same thing with Jerry Paul LeBlanc. Like that 5, this is the number that I had at birth. This is a quiet self-attack. Or Gerard Paul Harry LeBlanc. We have a very powerful feeling. There's a smoking level of massive wealth energy tied underneath. I can't say anything. Someone put the mute button on me. And it's a challenge to go through that. So we're going to definitely work through this. But the nice side of the 7, there's an intuition. There's a feeling of I can see my vision. I know this. I know I can see what's going to happen next. I just can't quite get there. So we're going to take a look at this vibration. You can see your future. We want you to say it. We want you to speak it out. And you may not be a fan of the Go Live, but you can definitely write a very thought-provocative post or a story or work one-on-one with people. Big crowds may be a little scary, but small one-on-ones are no problem. This is where we can really, truly get more work done. And I have it inside of my chart. I've got a 797. Francisco is a massive, quiet energy that really helps me to I need to be away from people in a really big way. That's why I do all my stuff on screen. But this is it's a way I protect my energy. And so we see the 7, it's like, it falls into the cracks. There's no money or wealth there. There's no money or wealth in the 5 either. Then we get to the 8. This is what you're all doing here. I found numerology. I'm like, I know life path, it's your birthday. It's great. But did you know that your name also superimposes on top of it? If your name doesn't express, then it's not going to express. And if this was a conversation about artists or travelers or, leaders or something else, it would be fine to have these other numbers. But we're here to create wealth in our business. The conversations that we have privately after this, if in case you guys do want to work with me one-on-one, we get into things like, well, here's my kids, here's my husband, here's my ex-wife, here's my, my challenge, my this and that, or here's where I was as a child, or whatever it was. It starts to move into all these other pieces that have nothing to do with your Enagic business. And so this is where it starts. We want to make sure that all of those little pieces on the clock of your life are clicking properly, so that when it comes to wealth time, you're not dealing with, oh, well, I have a money story. When I was a kid, my parents did this and that to me, and oh my God. And I had that. So I know that it's there. There's nothing wrong with that, but we need to pay attention to it in order for us to get through this. Because then you have this 8, and suddenly it's like, what I say is going to happen. And if you've got a negative story, what you say is going to happen. And it's going to completely deteriorate yourself. When we have it in the negative, if you see a negative 8 in red there somewhere, it's going to be a disassociation from your own intelligence. So when we see Paul's stuff, right? You've got a massive level of extraordinary wealth, but it's going into the negative, which can be, I'm so disconnected from myself. I had to convince him to be here. He's like, I want to be there, but I can't afford it. I'm like, who cares? Just come anyway. Let's make money first. Then you can pay me once we're fine. I do that because you've got power in there. And I looked at this and I'm like, oh man, to think that you would have missed this. Born in August? Come on. Like, there's a vibration in your birthday that says I am powerful. But then it starts to fiddle itself down through the challenge, the human experience, and we're here to rebuild it so that you have something you can use, because some of this stuff is going to be, life-changing if you let it. And we absolutely have it in there. So, and then same thing with Fred, born on an 8 vibration day, has an 8 in the middle there. We know there's a frustration of wealth. We want to make it. We know we can make it. So what the hell's going on? Like, I got the speed zone. The speed limit is high. There's no cops on the road. And yet my car's got missing wheels, or I don't have a gas in the tank. And it's a challenge to get moving. So we're going to tune you all up. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of that 8. Then we get to the 9. This is where things get into the mastery version of love. On the positive side of the 9s, we have any life path 9s here? No, but we do have people born on a 9-day, 9-year. There's a vibration of impact. You guys think and see big. There's a part of you that has to look, how a dog looks at you like there's something wrong with you. You'll look at the planet being like, why do people fight? Like, what's going on? Like, why does everybody got to do this to each other? And that big level impact comes in to think, I want to do something big for the world or for the planet. And there's and poor Laura here has got like 911 by the 1 of the I am is mixed on top of this 9 of the planet. It's like, I have to save the world. And look at that birthday. That's a really powerful set of numbers. 9876. It's like a full row. It's like, I need to play poker with you kind of thing. But there's a strong vibration inside this. So I want to do something big for the planet. I want to do something big for others. And this can also absorb a lot of other energy that show up inside of other people. So it's tough to know what's yours or what's not. And Laura's saying, how do you know if our numbers are expressing as negative or positive? If it ends in a 6 or an 8. So if you look at these 3 digits, I have an app. Okay, so in case you guys are using iOS, sorry Google, right now we're not on Android yet, but it helps you to calculate this. There's a 3-digit code. This is Pythagorean numerology. It's weird. You take the vowels, and then you take the consonants, and then you add them together. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, and you kind of you split them up, and then you put them back together. If the total expresses at a vibration of communication or wealth or at least effort, then it's going to be a vibration of wealth or positive. So any of these numbers that show up with a color, whether they work really hard or they're in the mastery or they work well, they're good, they're going to express powerfully or on a balance. If they don't, then they're going to be unbalanced and it's going to show up in the negative. And so we have to see that as an idea or an understanding to think, if it's got power, but it squeezes down into I just want to be loved, or I've got a lot of passion and then I'm only going to be able to think of myself, or I want to do what's right for myself, but I just keep on doing what's right for others instead. There's a challenge in there as opposed to let's get to work. I'm going to work with you. Let's make something happen. Or I've got business on the mind. I'm spiritually included. And I also care about expressing myself for others. So when we see whether these numbers work in the positive or the negative is whether they end in a 6 or an 8. I teach numerology mastery. It's a course that I run, and I have it available for you guys in case you ever want to take it. But this is a language. This is a language, and you just were introduced to the palette. Because of time, I'll just say this: the numerology numbers do exist in the mastery, and I'll just put in the 33, and they do show up, so they are there. But we're not going to get into them today. Just know that when you see 11, it's also 2. But it's a lot harder. When you see 22, it's also 4. But it's a lot harder. When you see 33, it's also 6. But it's a lot harder. So it's a lot more about this double edged blade. I'd like to think that you guys understand that conversation. If you keep seeing 222, 333, and you see all these numbers in repetition, like look at Ashley's birthday, it says 3322. So we do have a vibration of mastery inside of our group together. So we'll get into it. It will come across in vibration. But let's take care of the women and the children first. We have a 5-month-old sleeping. So I really want to get Patricia onto the feeling. If you want, what I'd suggest, this would be a lot easier if you unmute yourself. If you can talk. If you can't, here you go. How's it going? Great to have you here with us.
Good. So you can hear me fine?
It's a little bit muffled.
I don't know how to fix it, actually.
That's okay. Just move away from the mic and speak a little bit softer.
Oh, how's that?
That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So how do we say this? Is this Pasha or Patia?
Patia.
Patia. Nice. Very beautiful. So let's take a look at your chart here. Okay. First, we have a life path 7. So, and you're born in July. So there's going to be a very quiet level of energy to you up front. There's going to be a very strong level of intuition. Let's slow down. The 7 can get very, very calm. That 7's also supremely intuitive. This is a very psychic energy. 7 over 7 at the beginning of your life shows up as I can see things, but I may not be able to say stuff. So there could be a challenge in your communication in a really strong way. And, you know, it's like, one of my clients said to me, I wish there was a microphone in my head because that would make things so much easier to just speak my thoughts. But that 7 over 7 gives you this, I can see stuff, but I can't say things. Then we grow into a vibration here of very love. So there's this like very mature energy as a kid. And then there's a very childlike energy as an adult, which just makes everything so much more complicated because it's like, man, I was so mature and I missed out on my childhood. Now that I'm an adult, I have to adult. And now, you know, I'm holding this, I just want to have fun vibe. So I can imagine there may be a lot of like I'm afraid of, I can't do that, I don't know. Or like, I wonder, I'm unsure, I can see it, but I don't know. That level of self-doubt is huge. And then there is an expression of wealth that's coming for you inside of your life. So you know that there's something big to be had and there's something powerful that we can see. But I remember when I was doing your chart, Patricia Henderson is an extraordinarily powerful vibration. I think I wrote it here. I just wanted to make sure that I showed it. Yeah, Patricia Henderson is a vibration that you could use in case you're like, screw this, I need to go to the top. So just in case we want to go with that, I'll explain your names here. We've got this vibration you're born with. This is your birth name or your married name?
That's my birth name.
You will do anything for someone else. Like for your family, this is a 6 that says, I love, I care, I give. But the 5 is I'm fighting a fight on the inside. This fire burns me inside. And that 5 can be very feisty and it can be very angry. And the 6 can feel very guilty about the anger that you would feel. And the 6 can say, I'm just going to give this towards others. So it's a great friend to have just in case anyone's, you know, short. You know, Patricia's not going to have any, problem footing the bill for you. She's going to be nice and quiet about it, but she's going to be quietly grumbling on the inside, being like, why do I just got to do that? And that 5 is like, I want to do something. But the 6 is going to get locked into, partnership, relationship, family, whatever it is. I want to serve others other than myself. Same with the 2, life name path 2. And then you go Patia Henderson. This is like that fighter woman, that 955 this is like an ink splash. Part of you is intuitive, part of you is loving, part of you is just angry. And this vibration of that 5 is like, I gotta go, I'm ambitious, I want to get this done. Why am I not getting it done? And it's that anger, there's something wrong with me, and this is a challenge. So what we want to do is we want to start figuring out some pretty cool stuff that we can put together. One really nice thing is, let's tie those two together. Like,
Okay.
Patia A. Henderson. For those, wait a second, that's her name. So you got an actual naturally occurring vibration, which leans me towards this. It's a really good vibe. And we also get a chance to see you have another one that says Patricia Henderson. This is like, you're now hitting 2 for 2 here. So we're at the crossroads. And Paul, I'll come back to you there for the definition of the 6. Very balanced, love and money, but also, over giving and lack of sense of self. So it's particular for Patia because she got this number in her chart. We want to fix this and say the most powerful relationship of one you have with yourself. And so we got this vibe here that says on one side of the road, there's 3 or 4 different options here. One side of the road, you can take the A and say, I want to be a leader. I want to have my passion. I want to balance this out. I want to be fighter, like a ferocious, and leader and loving, like the only way a mama can do. But I want to stand up for my leadership. So it's a bit more active. Then there's the other side of the road that's really more like a mountain, and that's Patricia Henderson. And this is a vibration that says, I'm a big time gal. I want to absolutely make millions of dollars, and I want to really, like, the 955 of Patia Henderson is like, let me at that one. I want that one. That's the one, because there's a really strong vibe. You could take Patia C, Patia L Henderson, but Patricia Henderson, the name you were born with, says you are a wizard. You are a global visionary. And that's a very strong number to hold. So anything that you take may lead you to one day being like, I have to step up to that big level vibration. There is also Fun in the Sun, Patia E, or like Master Woman, J or S. So Patia S, Patia J, that says, look, I want to be a master leader. I want to hone in on my feminine side as well. And I definitely want to hold vibrations of soulmate, love, family, wealth, business, creation of currency. This Patricia Henderson's more like, I'll hire a babysitter. I need to, like, mama needs to change the world. So there's the different spaces of you to line into. Curiously, what I ask is, do any of these align, or do you want to talk about Patia Alice or Patricia Alice, or put something else together?
Well, I'm curious about my partner's last name, Crow.
How do you spell it?
C-R-O-W.
Sorry, K-R-O-W?
C-R-O-W.
C-R-O-W.
Yeah.
So let's go, like, just let's just enjoy this for a minute, okay? Patia, like, if you were to go Patia A Crow, you have another one. Guys, this isn't going to happen with everyone, okay? Not everybody's going to be as lucky as Patia. Everyone's going to look at you being like, what the hell? You could fall over into a random name and it would still work in your benefit. You don't have to take one of these weird looking letters. So Patia A Crow, hey, now suddenly we're rocking. But what about if you were to go, because are you legally Patricia Alice Crow?
My legal name.
Yeah. I lost your audio. Is everyone else still be able to hear me? Sorry, it said my internet was unstable. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you
okay,
hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
My legal name is Patricia Alice Lima Henderson.
So.
But I definitely am not keeping Lima.
That's fine. Lima?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's not working for you anyway. So if you're not planning on keeping it, what I would say is Patricia Alice Crow also works. And this is a number that I don't show up here. It's somewhere around the beginning. It's a 584 vibe. So it's not something I give to people, but it is something that works. So Patricia Alice Crow. Please, again, everyone's not going to be as lucky as Patricia here, but Lima and Henderson may not be the way you want to run with anymore. If you want to go big time with Patia A Crow, You could also go smaller a little bit and go, let's say, what is it? Patia Crow, but then you'd put the HQ or Z. So there are ways to show up with Patia H Crow. There you go, another one. You know, a vibration that's like really yours. This would now really put all-star vibration of business, spirituality, and family. Probably.
If I did Petit H Crow.
Is that the one?
Is that what you said just now? Petit
Yes.
H.
Yeah. Look like that. Patia H Crow. And like, this is like, we've got all of our bases covered. Not only will you, because Life Path 7, even like when we get a chance to see, we're talking to you, right? Soft spoken. That 7 is like, I'm calm. And the 8 says, I'm going to express my wealth. And the other side, I'm going to have my baby with, I'm going to do this as a family. It's the number I have. So that was like, let's build this. And I'm not afraid of this. So it's a nice vibration of like the Goldilocks effect, I like to call it. This is that zone to make sure that you're not too hard, not too soft, but just right. And there's that feeling inside of these purple numbers.
Yeah, I like that.
Me too. Okay, so let's upgrade you right now. Woo, that feels good. Oh yeah, because that right before Patia Henderson, there is a lot of frustration in that. It feels like, you know, like I'm aggravated, and that can give you a lot of anxiety. And with the 7s, you're probably not expressing it. So there you go. There's one. Patia H Crow. That feels good. Guys, we're starting to do this. By the end of this, you're all going to have this feeling inside of you. I would say, there you go. Patia H Crow. How do you feel?
It feels good. I think I want to like sit with it a little bit. I like that the H is, you know, Henderson.
Of course, like, yeah.
Yeah.
It could stand for happy. No, but it stands for Henderson. But, you know, just to be fair, if you're going to sit with it, let's sit with this, Patia H Crow. And then if you need to move from it and you're like, Patia A Crow now starts to keep growing, or if you want to take something a little bit more on, like, you know, on the human level, that's fine too. But sit with it. And, you know, if you want to go back on mute, and by the time we go through everyone, I'm going to go through everyone again. So just in case you want to do this one more time, and after you hear everyone else's, you're like, you know what? No, signing it out, writing it out, I feel like I might want to choose something else. That's completely fine too.
Okay.
Sounds good. Boom. Tia, Aaron's there with you. I appreciate you. Cool. Okay. My internet was a little unstable there, so I appreciate you guys. Someone else needed to get things done quickly. I can't remember who it was now. Patricia wanted to rush me, or you didn't mean to rush me. Okay,
Aaron.
Okay, Aaron, you're up next, and then after that, we're going to get back to Sarah. So, Aaron, okay, let's do this. Patia, you're muted. Aaron, if you want to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello,
Sweet.
hello.
Hi.
Okay, so this is a challenge because we've got on one side, we have a fighter and a fighter builder. Like, you care about raising something extra. There's a lot of passion in here. Just in case anyone knows, Aaron, she said, boom, Patia. That's like a bomb going off. So she's like a very explosive level of energy. But then on the other side, Aaron Renee Fisher is quiet. The explosion is going off in your head. It can feel trapped in your mind. It can feel like very stuck in your neurosis. It's very neurotic vibration. And then Aaron Fisher's like, we talk, I'm fine. And the 3 just wants to put up the thumbs up when really there's like an inner civil war going on within you. This is not serving you inside of wealth. We must fix this because this is going to cause health issues. So in case you're not seeing that or already seeing 1976, I probably think it's starting to catch up with you.
Well, no, I've seen in the past, I've seen a lot of health issues, and it's been like it's been part of my career is women's health and stuff like that. So I've gone through a lot already. Okay.
So I'm glad to see now the 5 shows up for other people who don't have a voice. You fight for people.
Yeah.
And there's a really strong level of, because, you know, women's health, no one's talking about that. They're just, people are just like, I'm fine. And there's this lack of voice when really you're like, no, screw that. You need to speak up with that. And there's a really powerful, like, look what I had to go through. So I'm glad that you petitioned for that kind of thing. It's a very powerful platform that allows you to move forward. But at the same time, we've got this 5 energy that says, I'm a fighter. So it doesn't matter what the world throws at you, you're going to make it through. and you're going to fight your way through tooth and nail. But we want to make sure that you pull over for the finances and the wealth, and make sure that this thing can really start to grow, even if it's just like it doesn't just be about the wealth. It's about the vision about helping other people, a really strong piece there. But we have one fighter, one part that just collects energy, and another part that just pretends like it's all good. So there's like pieces that are moving off into different directions. We would like to fix this. So what could we do? We could try Erin Renee if you want, or we could go in and say my top pick would be Erin E. Fisher, because that one shows up and says like a mentor, powerful, godlike vibration, partner, parent, love, female energy, and then also magnetism towards wealth. So it's a very strong connection between all things. Or there's a more fun one, Erin C or Erin L. This is like Amazon warrior woman. And that leader, warrior, and woman. I fight for my women. I fight for my people. And that 6 says I also have a really big heart. So after there's that big cry and come on, girl, you can do this. There's that big hug after that says you stand up for yourself.
I resonate with that. So you said Erin C, like C is in crow.
Yep.
So Erin C. So that would be full name, like Erin C. Fisher.
Erin C. Fisher, like that. You can see the second line up there. Or Erin L.
And what's the L?
It's literally 3. Like we're looking at A, B, C, and then L would be like the 12th letter, I guess. That happens next. So it's like we're looking at how many degrees do we need to crank this in order to get to a bigger level vibration. So L could stand for love or lady or luxury. I mean, you could put it for whatever you want. I could even find you a name for the letter L. So in case you wanted to go further into that,
the letter C, like when I look at the letter C, there's something I don't vibrationally like align with at all. Like there's something that feels off, even though that you said the description of it, like Amazon warrior, like fight and then give a hug, like that resonates with me. But then looking at the letter C, there's something, I don't know, maybe I need to like lean into it more, but.
Do you have a pen on handy?
I could grab one.
If you want, well, you could, if you want to do this, just sign the name. And if you find that it stops you when you're signing it, probably a good idea that you don't take it. You also have that 7 inside. There's that gut feeling inside of Erin Renee Fisher. You follow your intuition. You don't need a reason. If you don't like the letter, if it aesthetically is not pleasing, that's enough. Like for me, I had a choice of the FXOHQZ. It was like, I was like, I can't, and my middle name was Francisco. And I was like, that's it. Just take the F. Like, I'm not going to show up with Bobby Z. Perry Hart. Like, didn't make it.
Okay. So you're telling me to play around with Erin C. Fisher or Erin L. Fisher?
Well, if you don't like the C, then chuck it. That's enough. If you're
I like the description, but I don't know. I'm just not used to it.
Okay, well, how about Erin L. Fisher?
I don't know.
How about Erin H. Renee?
No.
Okay, how about Erin Q. Renee?
No.
Okay, how about this one? Erin Renee Fisher.
Erin C. Maybe the C. I'm attached to what you said the description of the C was. So maybe I put the C in there again.
Okay, hold on. Erin C. Fisher.
What do you think?
I would like to think that Erin C. or Erin L. The fact that you weren't really aligning with the C makes me feel like the L is a bit better.
Okay. Yeah.
But we're talking aesthetics. I'm just trying to find another one. See, Erin O. Renee Fisher or Erin Renee O. Fisher or Erin Renee X. Fisher or Erin Renee H. Fisher. You could even tuck in an H into Renee and go Erin Renee Fisher.
Oh, I like that.
That one looks really good because now suddenly we're going back to this vibration of partner, mentor, leader, and monetize.
Okay, I like that. Boom, like that one.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's go Erin Renee Fisher. That way it's a subtle change. You don't have to move it around too much.
Uh-huh.
and it's got like power partner vibration as well too. Like this is like, you know, you love to care about others, and also it's a profitable move to have you in someone's life. Like this is like, you can trust me, let's grow together, and we're gonna make money. Let's do this. Let's create wealth.
Okay, I love it.
Me too. Okay, cool. So Erin Renee Fisher, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Ashley's got kiddos coming in 30 minutes. I don't want to keep pushing Sarah down though. Are you okay, Sarah? If we take, okay, she says okay. All right, let's do this, Ashley. Are you ready for this? Like, we're jumping all over the place here today, guys. I usually go and up to down, down to up to down, but in this case, Ashley, if you're with us, before we do that, Erin, I'm just gonna quickly.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm just gonna change Erin's name here. We're gonna go Erin Renee Fisher. And guys, please don't go changing your names legally without me. Okay, that's a big move. So we're just talking about business name, Facebook, and your Zoom ID. Okay. So Ashley, how's it going?
Good.
Are you excited for this?
Yes, super duper.
I felt your energy. I absolutely appreciate you for being here. And just on that note, I thank all of you guys for messaging me about what challenge you're going through and what you want as an outcome for this. We've got a massive level woman here. Okay. So this is a strong alpha woman vibration. You've got that leader, life path 1. Your name, Ashley McPherson, is also a name path 1. Ashley R. McPherson is also a name path 1. So there's this strong alpha woman vibe that shows up. But then you show up with the 3s, March and 12, which says, I'm super sweet, lovely, caring, pretty. Like, I want to enjoy my womanness, and I want to be a big kid as well. So you're not going to age the same way. Like, we're the same age, 1984. But you're fooling people a lot with that. Like, they don't really quite identify you. And I would say you don't identify yourself with how old you are either. Parts of you may feel like you're older, but parts of you really don't look that and play the part. So there's that vibration in there. Then we see Ashley Renee Presnell. This is the name you were born with. We get a vibe here that says, I'm going to work hard. I'm also going to be very calm, patient, dedicated, but I'm going to give up on myself for others. And I feel this right as soon as I say that. There's that feeling here that's like,
I've done it.
Because the 1 is like, I don't like doing that. I do that all the time. And what the hell? And there's that 1 in there that's a little pissed off about it, because the 3's like, oh, it's okay. And, you know, no problem. And when by yourself, you're like, oh, yeah, I hate that part. I don't like doing that, but I look good doing it. And it's going to be a challenge. And we know that once this thing settles out, you've got you got an extended childhood because you got an extended work period. There's a very strong stage in your life. The age of 55 is when it really kicks in, that says, I'm going to lay down the infrastructure for something extraordinarily powerful. So it begs the question, if you're, you know, one that you really need to answer to yourself, if you've seen it in that vision of like, I'm going to do big things. I'm going to do big things. Even if sometimes I don't believe in myself, I will do big things one day. I can confirm in your chart that's absolutely true, but we need to move some of this around. So Ashley R. McPherson is not a vibration that we would use for wealth, even though it's very strong with its intelligence. It just gives up on itself and ends up feeling like it's grasping at stuff. So we want to move some of this over. You're continuing with the McPherson vibration, or are you planning on taking another name?
I'm planning on remarrying my ex-husband.
Perfect.
It'll always be McPherson.
Good. So what about if we do Ashley McPherson, right? And then we put Renee in there. Not going to work. Okay, we want to do something else. So if I were to put a letter in there, we're back to this conversation. So I figured out a few. I would imagine being a life path 1, you need to hang around somewhere up top here. So it would be something like Ashley N. McPherson, Ashley W. McPherson. To be fair, that kind of spreads everything out. Or to go even further and say, look, I'm going to change the world. Ashley G, P, or Y McPherson. And these letters are easy to hide. Like, you could take Ashley McPherson with a double N. You could also take Ashley with a double Y.
I like because it honestly brings me back to my maiden name of Presnell.
OP.
Which has some strong ties, of course, to some things I have to heal with my dad, but I like that.
So this is, and we talked about being that alpha woman. Okay, so I'm doing this women's alignment session in a week from now, a week today, and we're putting a bunch of women in together. And we did this for the boys, we did this for the guys, and basically the challenge here is that like 1 is masculine, 2 is feminine, 3 is feminine, 4 is masculine, 5 is masculine, 6 is feminine. I'm going to write this out here. Can I do this? So masculine, we have a feminine energy, feminine, masculine, masculine. We've got a feminine, we have a masculine, feminine, indifferent, masculine and feminine energy. So, you know, your numerology doesn't care if you're a man or a woman. So just, you know, you may be a very strong woman on one side and then a very lovely woman on the other side. So when you take a vibration like this, it's going to take you straight up into the black. Like this is a global vision. And it's also nice to feel that you're honoring the vibration that you had. You know, it's that the father relationship is challenged. And you're like, I'm healing stuff with my dad because you've got a masculine energy inside of your path. You're going to butt heads with dad. And it's an interesting concept that shows up there. This allows you the ego's breath. And you're like, oh, finally I can pull something together that makes me feel empowered. And it's not so fearing, like veering off of the path. But when we look at this,
being in the black is a bad thing though.
It's not that it's in the bad thing. It's just that everything is going, this is a global visionary. So you have to rise up. And there was like, you know, Laura's challenge in the negative. Your challenge is that everything burns around you and what will survive will. Balazs has this number. So there's a challenge there that says he put his house and his wife and his family creation to the side while he created his worth and wealth before he started to come back for that. So the same way with this vibration, it's a good vibe, but you have to be ready to like you can take a temperature check, and just check your mindset and say, I'm going to make $5,000 a month. Okay, I'm going to make $10,000 a month. Okay, now we're getting there. I'm going to make $50,000 a month, and you keep on going up. I'm going to make $100,000 a month. Now we're starting to feel a little buzz. Okay, I'm gonna make $500,000 in a month. Now suddenly it's like, whoa, like it's almost like I'm outside of my awareness here. I'm gonna make 7 figures in a single month, and then everything becomes quiet. And this is that level of like we've left gravity, and this is where that number wants to sit. So if you're like, oh, I don't know, that's a little heavy. I'm not sure if I want to go that high. You could take something like PG or PP or PY, and this would move it back down to I make $50,000 a month. Yeah, I'm comfortable there. And that's a lot of money, just so everybody knows. That's like, I used to make that in a year. Now I make that in a season. I'm growing into my $100,000 months and beyond, I know. But the reality is that this vibration says, I want to be at the top. There's no ceiling, and I don't care what I have to do to get there. So limiting sense of limiting belief, your ego will attack you. You're challenging things that are challenging you. You'll confront vibrations with your dad, and there's a strong feeling of things need to heal, but cue the phoenix from the ashes. This is like, I'm going to grow. So it's a big vibe here. So whenever someone takes this, I'm like, just be sure that this is the one that your soul is truly calling you to. And when I look at the life path 1, you're looking at the top of the chart. The 1 has to be on the top. It's like, I have to be the number 1. So when we see you picking a name like this and you're selling yourself on the P for Presnell, it's like a nice way that your ego's like, I can own this. I can take this on, just in case the 3s are like, that's a bit too high. Then we know what we can understand. The 22 part of you is like, I want to make something extraordinarily big. There's only one number that can take you that high. So just in case that starts to show up for you, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like this is a season of growth. This is a season of confronting things for sure. Actually, I have a goal this week. I was writing a list of things for my dad that I have to approach and address. So like I'm pushing myself to do that. It's uncomfortable as hell. But I know that in order to grow, I've got to get through those things. Fixing my marriage, I know that the business, I feel like now is the time to get that where it needs to be. And my ex-husband and I are just taking very, like right now we're just working on a friendship, building everything later. So it doesn't feel bad. It feels a little scary, but it feels like, okay, I'm here, I'm ready. Like, let's go.
Sure. Yeah. It's like getting that pit in your stomach when you're running off a cliff and you're running off a cliff. You're not going to stop, but you're going to soar. So when you said things like comfort, I'm glad you have the list, because if you go in and you sign it as Ashley P. McPherson, you're going to be like, well, I don't care about comfort. I'm just going to go and do it. I need to get this done, and it's going to stand up for it. So I'm glad that you're feeling good about the name. Let's keep it. Let's take this. That feels really crazy. I'm just going to rename you on here as well. And just a small little note, just because you're going through stuff. When I work with someone, we have this conversation. This is about where the earth is and where you are. So you are in a 9 path right now. So you're about to start a brand new cycle inside of the decade of who you are. And it's nice to think that 2020 will also be a brand new decade, but you're concluding a lot of old things. So if I look back at this and I'm like, okay, so where's your birthday? March. Before March, reconcile relationship and confront dad, like straight up. You need to get those things done. You need to let go. Hey, I didn't like it when you did this to me. Or, hey, you know what? This is what I stand for now. I'm making a stand because I'm going into a new phase of my life. And you only get like 10 of these if you live to the age of 90. So, you know, this is a big deal. You're in like an epoch, like a really big portion of your life right now. So pleasure to have you, especially during this time. Try to sell everything. Get rid of some stuff. Clear everything out. Getting that list is, as well, getting rid of the cobwebs of your relationships, like getting that stuff really cleared on. So you're helping people grow.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Okay, let's come back up. Let's go up to Sarah. Sarah, how are you? If you want, I'm just going to quickly mute you, Ashley. And if you want to unmute yourself, Sarah, that way we can connect properly here. Can I unmute you or can you unmute you? Hello, hello.
Hi.
This conversation we were trying to have way early in the wee bits of the morning, so I appreciate you being here with me. Moving. Aaron says I have to go. I appreciate you, Aaron. Thank you so much for being with us. Watch the replay because I will go over some cool little discounts I have for you guys. But in a nutshell, I'm just going to discount what you guys have paid me today to work with me privately, okay? So thank you so much, Aaron, for being with us. Sarah, this is a challenge, and I remember saying this before to you. We're going to have to do this again now that we're in a really powerful space. You have big numbers here, okay? This is wizard levels of wealth, angel levels of partnership, humanitarian levels of love, and balance between wealth and love that show up inside of your chart. Being born in 1968, you're approaching the 3rd stage of your life soon. So there is a vibration that switches that shows the 2 most powerful numbers in numerology are approaching you. And to make matters, this is where the challenge comes in. Your name only occupies the first part of the chart. So you have these massive level mastery vibrations that are ready for you, a full-on no speed zone, no speed limit zone, no cop's gonna pull you over, no traffic jam, and yet your car is like, it's got this like nail that's hit right over 40K or 40 miles an hour. And you're like, I can't move faster than this. If I try to rev up, it just hits. And I'm like this big energy living in like the house, like the way Gandalf shows up in Lord of the Rings when he goes into the Hobbit's house. And he's like, I can't stand up in here. This is a short vibration. And this is a vibration we love very carefully because it's the name you're born with, but it's not the name that's going to help you get to a massive levels of wealth, worth, value, and the next. So we want to make sure that we put something together here for you. And genie in a tiny bottle, that's basically what we're looking at. It's a perfect analogy because this is magnetic and powerful and cosmic and, you know, massive level. And you're like, I know, right? And then the 4 inside of Sarah Jane Worley is like, I don't know. I'm just going to be humble. And I'm, you know, great friend, pleasure to work with, but you're frustrated. And this is like, I need to unfold this. It feels like you've got your entire vibration just folded in half. And if we were just to unfold this, you would stand twice as high. So we had some options before. I think you were telling to me about before about going by Sarah E. Worley, or did you feel more into Sarah Jane, or do you want we can kind of like move back into this and see if we can find something else instead?
I know that you mentioned Sarah E. and you mentioned Sarah Jane. People call me Sarah Jane as well as Sarah. So I don't know.
See, now, Sarah Jane implies that you'll take the H off, like just Sarah Jane without the H. So that, I'm not sure if that changes it at all, because, you know, for me, if you were to tell me to spell my name B-O-B-Y, like Bobby, it wouldn't make, I just wouldn't feel into it. So,
Right.
you know, and then on the other side, it's Sarah E. Worley. You know, we could play around with Jane if you wanted to sort of play around Sarah Jane Worley. But what I'll do is something like this. Let's just take a look and see.
Would it work if you put a Y in it, like J-A-Y-N?
Yeah, I was just going to try that. Sarah Jane Worley, right, like that. No, we'd need something else. Yeah, and it would look like something like this. Where are we? 628. So it would look like Sarah Janie's. That's like really weird now.
Yeah, that's weird.
Worley, yeah, it's like really messing up your name.
Yeah,
So
that doesn't work.
yeah, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have that option. Can we go back and we can go? How about Sarah Worley J? No, okay, Sarah Worley with an E. That's the one that's really showing up. Sarah E Worley. How about if we just go Sarah Jane? Or how about this one? Sarah Jane? No. Sarah Jane's. Or Sarah. You see, you could do something like Sarah Jane with 2 A's. Or you could do Sarah Jane's like that. There could also be Sarah J. Jane's. So there, or Sarah J. Jane, like that would also work. But my top pick, again, would have gone back to Sarah E. Worley. If we're going to put a weird letter there somewhere, that would be the one that would look the best. And the one that would look the most subtle would be Sarah Jane without the H. So may take some meditation on to sort of figure out how about JW? See, there's a really good one. 268. I knew there was something in there. This is probably why, oh, that's a little hard. Hold on. I knew there, that's a little bit tough as well too. Let's just do it like this. Sarah JW. Now this is authentic, and it also holds massive levels of power that help bridge this gap. Like if you are like 1, 3, 4, and your life path is all like 8, 9, 6, then having a 2, 6, 8, it's like the middle section of connecting your on the ground vibe with your massive level worth. And we look at these numbers occurring inside of your birthday, 2, 6, and 8. So Sarah JW might not be a bad vibration to take on or consider. How does that one feel?
Okay, yeah, it feels slightly better.
It does, right?
Yeah.
How about Sarah Jane W? No. Okay, if it was that, it'd be Jane W O, no, O G H G P Y. That would also work. Sarah Jane W Y, but then this one goes up to the very, very top. So it would be like that one. Sarah Jane W-Y, like that.
Right, okay. That takes it up to a black, does it?
Yeah, and then that's a really big vibration. So my opinion, and again, you know, you're that kind of woman. We do have very big power there, but it may be safer, energetically speaking, for the ego to identify underneath Sarah JW, you know, just for the time being. And if you find that you outgrow it, then definitely I would probably consider what happens next and where do you go from there. Because to look at sarahjaneworley.com, we don't need to touch that. We don't need to touch that. That's completely fine. But on the shorthand, Sarah JW. And even Sarah Jane Worley, it's not like it doesn't work, but it's offering that fold me in half vibration where we should be unfolded into your massive levels of wealth.
Right. Okay.
Sarah
All right.
Jane, that didn't work.
Yeah, I think Sarah JW. I think
Sarah JW helps. Okay, let's do it. Let's go. Sarah JW, and then that was a 268. I love it. So actually, let's do it like this so I don't have to do it over again. And we'll go Sarah JW. I love it. Okay, so, but this is a vibration that we're going to start using. So you would, sign off on things like this, choosing it as a Zoom name, going in and creating a Gmail by this, or putting this as a brand or a logo on your site. Having that vibe is like, it's powerful as a coach, a mentor, and someone who's going to help people become wealthy. And you're like, oh, it's me all day long. Like, this is literally what your birthday is saying. Now your name coincides with it. It's a wonderful way to vibrate. If you do want to change it by the time we wrap around, just let me know one more time. But I know it's a bit tough to think, especially since there's so many different options. I want to find something that's authentic for you, right?
Yeah, that does feel more authentic than an E that doesn't really appertain to anything at all.
Yeah.
And I think like the Sarah without the H is pronounced Sarah. And if it's just Sarah Jane or Sarah Jane, then it's, I think a lot of other people are kind of termed as Sarah Jane, and that doesn't, I think Sarah JW is the one.
And this is a big deal because this is how you choose to approach yourself in the world. So, take this one with power. And if it does decide to turn into something else, you and I will talk, okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions about your chart?
Thank you. No, but I do have a question about the, you may not know the answer, but in order to actually do the change, because I went through the Facebook thing and it said, because I'd already confirmed my name, in order to change it, I think they want documentation. So in this instance, I guess maybe with the JW, it does, is who I am. It's like, but I don't know whether, if they do actually need some documentation to prove whatever it is.
I remember that, and I haven't seen that before. So sometimes if it was me, to be honest, I would be like, does this one need, it's a change. If it's a legal change, they're going to be like, okay, show me the legal paperwork. If it's a nickname, then they're like, okay, then you can just add it. It's no big deal. But I would just choose the option that allows you to vibrate in that way. I would kind of just roll my eyes at Facebook and be like, why do you care? Come on, just click it through. This should be a click it through kind of thing. So in case it shows up in that way and they need to make you do stuff, my heart goes out to you. Facebook is a finicky little beast. And sometimes we need to start new profiles, start new business pages. If you can't, just know that at least Sarah Jane Worley is not like damaging you. But we do want to, nobody's going to tell you to do that when you create a logo. Nobody's going to do that when you create a Gmail, when you create a business fan page, when you start showing up in conversations on Zoom, nobody's going to make you do that. So at least there will be some places will be easier to align than others, but everyone lets you click through. I would say if you do most of your work on your personal page, you definitely want to have Sarah JW there.
Okay.
Cool.
Alrighty. Thank you, Bobby.
You're very welcome. Okay. Laura, let's get you up. How are you? Great to have you. Super blessed to have this information, this energy for you. This is another big energy kind of gal. We see again the 6, the 9, the 8, the 7. There's a very deep sense of maturity here. Okay, so the 6 is going to be responsible and caring, loving, committed. It's a very loving vibration. This is a good person to be friends with. So we know that you're true and we know that you love other people. It's a really good vibe. And then also we see as a kid, actually throughout life, you're very mature. Okay, these are numbers that are all hanging up at the top. So we see the 7 is going to be fairly quiet. You're only going to speak up when really you need to. The 9 wants to go even more cosmic. And at this point, you can absorb other people's energy. So just in case you find yourself needing to be a bit more introverted, it's probably as a safe self-safety mechanism so that you don't quite absorb other people's stuff. Yeah. But like Sarah, you're going into a wealth vibration. You already have. You've already climbed into the mastery or the wizard level vibration or the give back level vibration of your life. To think that the 6 and the 8 are massive levels of wealth conversation, I can imagine how frustrating this must be. Are you still Laura Allison Norvig? You are, right? Legally speaking.
Yeah.
The vibration here is superhero. This is like, I'm going to take care of the planet. I can see other people's pain and I'm going to own it, or I'm going to go through it. So you're the person we call when we're going through something challenging in our life. And you're there and like, I'm proud to do that. But it's also sincerely damaging to the self. This can have a nervousness or an anxiety that just can't seem to be named. And it's a feeling of getting stuck in the self or stuck in the head, and it can lead into massive headaches or pain around the neck or around the head or temples. This overload of universal energy squeezed into the vibration of the one. The one is the self and the point. The 9 is all things. So, I would say of all of us, you're the most ideal for a legal name change at some point in your chart, in your life. We can definitely talk about that when it becomes more relevant. But when we go to Laura Norvig, there's the opposite vibration of, oh no, I'm fine. It's all good. Nobody needs to know that I go that deep. Let's just keep things on the surface. And it can feel like all of this massive level of energy. And what shows up is super sweet, very pleasant, very easygoing, no big deal. But then there's that rumbling on the inside of that 1, the 2 and the 1, like sacrifice the self for the other. And, it's great to know you. It's great to have you in our lives. Your friends will tell this about you. No doubt. You're either pleasant to the people who don't know you or to the people who truly know you. They understand your real true power. But we want to move this thing back out because you're an entrepreneur, right? Like, this is big. So, this is, on one side, you're very wise. And on the other side, it's like being a little girl trapped in your little girl energy forever. So there's a lot of that anxiety that shows up. And then even further, Laura A. Norvig, it shows up, it's good vibration. Your credit cards are going to get paid. Like, this is a good vehicle to use, but it's not the one that says, I want to create massive levels of wealth. We got to fix some of this and move this upward a little bit. Yeah. So we had some options. I want to see what were some of the cool ones.
I also, on all my social, I've been L Norvig like forever. And I mean, maybe that's another conversation, but.
Let's just quickly see. So let's go L.
Like Twitter and that kind of Instagram. It's
quiet. The L Norvig is away from its vibration of communication. So it feels kind of like the lone wolf. And you're like, if you were to do L.A. Norvig, now L.A. Norvig, now being quiet, not a bad idea. It's like, I could do that. And this is another really nice thing to see that, hey, she's got naturally occurring alignments. Can I try Laura Allison?
Yeah.
So let's just try Laura Allison. It works, but we need something else on it. And just to be fair, Laura's a good name. You're ambitious. Like, there's a vibration inside of that vibe that says, I want to be in business. I can do this. I'm going to have some fun. But then the other vibrations are like, just no, they don't want to. So when I'm looking at the word Laura, it's good. Laura Allison would need a hand. It's 1 L. It still works, but I would say Laura B, Laura K, or Laura T Allison. So let's go back to L.A. Norvig, which would work. This is a good vibe to have. So just in case you're like, well, that's how I show up on my socials. This continues the vibration of quiet, calm, and intuitive, but now it shows up with a sense of self. Now we should move this vibration into a works smart vibration. So this is actually a good place to show up. And it doesn't need to go and be all showy. So it's still nice and quiet. So you don't have to, be all up in everyone's face, but yeah. it still is present, and it's got a very patience to it. But you couldn't introduce yourself as L.A. Norvig. So
yeah,
you'd be best to introduce yourself as Laura A. Norvig when you're talking to someone. But if we were to move this up, we would want something else that could show up. Like, can I try something here? I just want to see if I were to go Allison Norvig. See, this might be a little bit overkill, but there's a really subtle way of changing this. This is kind of what I did. Laura Allison Norvig with a Y. And then that way you're now moving back up to the massive level powers of wealth, but it would change you dramatically. This is a dramatic change. So if we were to go back down, let's just see what else you'd have. So Allison, and then, oh, here's a nice one. Another very subtle, super subtle shift. Okay, Laura Allison with 2 N's. Now, this one also is mastery, but this is more your bag. This is like, you know, between the ages of 27 and 55, you had a 9/6. So this was a very loving, caring, super loving, caring woman, vibration of leader and power and communication. And so you bring back the good days of like what was very loving of the self. And I would suggest this over anything else for sure. You know, the vibration of 966 is extraordinary, but yeah, I want to make sure that I don't mess this up because I'm going to give you guys reports later. But that would be like, let's put it here where it belongs. Let's go here and we go 966. So it would be Laura Allison Norvig. How does that strike you?
I mean, it would take some getting used to, but it's pretty subtle.
It
doesn't work with 2 L's, huh?
Let me try. Let me just see what happens if you put 2 L's. I would stay away from that. It would work,
Okay.
but it also works really, 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 really hard. Like,
Yeah.
very hard. And
I'm
you're
tired of that.
like, yeah, I could imagine this would be like, ugh.
I've already worked too hard my whole life.
Yeah, see, that's Laura A. Norvig. Is like I put on a smile while I was doing it. Like I would like something a bit more magnetic now, and you know, we would take us to Laura W. or Laura N. Norvig.
What is the W? I think the 2 N's will work, but I'm just curious about
The W is very similar. This is like splitting hairs because if you were to take a W, Laura W. Norvig, it shows up with partnership, mentorship, and wealth. This one is like service to others inside of their love and their wealth. So this very similar, but this one has more of a focus on the double N has more of a focus on feminine power in leadership, whereas this one has more of a business focus in mentorship. So it's like those kind of sound the same. And to be fair, this one's my last name and this one is my son's name. So I kind of get the vibe that responsible, care for others, let's make money together. I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve people. It really just boils down to Laura W. Norvig. I could do that. But then some of your family may be like, what's that? If you're doing Laura Allison Norvig with an extra N, doubt that anyone would say anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah says they won't accept the name without uploading something. Come on. You could try adding a nickname. What about if you were to try adding a nickname, Sarah? Let me know how that one works. Sometimes they let you do something there. Yeah, but that's super frustrating. I wonder if that's a regional thing. I know sometimes in where I'm in the world they don't let you do that, or they don't make you do that. But Laura, how are you feeling about these letter options?
I mean, it just takes a little getting used to, but I think I like keeping the Allison.
You could even take Laura Allison and then add the N or add a W. So you could keep it and put it somewhere else, or Laura and Allison Norvig. But that's a little bit more long.
Yeah, it gets so long.
Yeah.
My dad actually wanted to name me Allison, and my mom wanted to name me Laura.
Okay. Yeah. So at least they both got their way, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I can hang with that.
You can hang with this one.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's put this in here. and let's see what this thing looks like. So let's go Laura Allison Norvig, and the vibration there is 966. That feels really good. And what I'll do is I will, and you know, you got, I'll say this as I'm doing this here. There are 3 different types of name changes. There's one that you take that says that I want this name and this is it. I'm going to take this forever. There's another one that says I'm going to take this one now and I'm going to change it later and I'm going to grow out of it. And there's another type of name change that says I'm going to take this one here, this one here, this one here. I'm going to take this name for this name for this name for this. So in case you feel like, I don't know, it takes some getting used to, it could just be that that's not where you're going to land. It could just be that one side for social is going to be LA Norvig, and another side for wealth or for personal Facebook is going to be double N, or another side for branding is going to be somewhere else. Or it could be like, you know, Sarah could be Sarah JW now, and then later on would be Sarah Jane WY when she grows into her wealth story. So just be careful with yourselves. What I like to say is take one, sit with it, and by the end of it, if you're getting numb and you're feeling like, no, this isn't it, I'm sitting on something, then you should move it. So, you know, just to keep that in mind as you go forward. Also, you are now broadcasting Laura Allison Norvig with 2 N's. Your Zoom, everybody can see you. Like, this is who you are. So you're already starting to, like, I can see it. I'm putting your face with the name right as it shows up on your camera. And so this is the first place where you get to actually try the name on. And while we're still inside of here, you can be like, I changed my mind. Just put on Sarah W. Or, you know, even on the other sides, you know, we haven't talked about these ones, you know, like Sarah C. or Laura C. or Laura L. or Laura U. Norvig. Like, there are other places to show up as well, too. And then even there was like LM Norvig, or it was like Laura A.D. or A.V. Norvig, right? There are other options there too.
Did you say Laura W. kind of works?
It really does. It really does work. Like, it's the same kind of vibration as Laura Allison. The only difference is that it's not as subtle. It's
right.
Like, what the hell? People are going to look at you and be like, what does that mean? And you're going to have to tell them it stands for wealth, it stands for 5, or it stands for numerology, or it stands for whatever you want me to be, baby. Like, whatever you have, you put it together, you're going to have to come up with people. Like, I remember someone in the chat was like, how do you explain this to family? I'm like, yeah, that's a tough one.
But I don't care about that part. But yeah. One thing is sometimes it's nice to have a slightly different business name than the Facebook name.
Yep.
For easier differentiation. But
yep, and that way you know, and that way you can see it. So that's people say that all the time. So just in case you're feeling into that and you're like, oh yeah, I can do that. The W would be for wealth or for water, right?
Yeah, so, well, my son's name is Wade and my husband's middle name is Wade.
There you go. So there would be a really nice way of when we do that and we're like, oh, I know that letter. That's that name vanity kicking in. So in case you're like, yeah, it doesn't, and just try it on for a second. We'll go here and go, Laura W. Norvig. How does that feel?
Pretty good.
You want to, maybe, I'm thinking, let's keep that instead. And also, everyone else, you guys are in the chat. Go ahead and let us know your thoughts. And I'm going to keep you as Laura W. Norvig. You said it differently when you said, you're like, when we're talking about the double N, you're like, I could take some getting used to.
Yeah.
So the double, you're like, pretty good.
It's easier to embody, I think, at this
point. It really is. And it has a level of authenticity to it. I'd say more than the double N, just because that's like, it's like I'm misspelling my name. And
yeah.
Like, for me, I had to put the S between the C so you couldn't really see it. But really cool. I think it helps to also identify with her son and her husband, Paul says.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And Sarah says, I've chosen the nickname option. Shall I screenshot it? It's my nickname and send that as a JPG? That's funny. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. I would try to, maybe if there's a way to contact support and let them know that you're changing it around just for, or my option is start a new page, and that's like super annoying. So just in case any of you have not had to have your Facebook shut down or ever had to do that before, sometimes that happens, and it's something that we all have to go through. So I appreciate you for that. All right, let's do this. Let's keep going. If you guys have any questions, let me know. So Patia, we got Ashley done. Kate, we're here, Frederick. So Frederick, are you ready, my good man? I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate your patience. If you want to unmute yourself, or maybe I might be able to try to unmute you. There you go.
There we go.
How are you? How are you? How are you?
Good. Really interesting stuff to listen to here.
You ready for your shot?
I am. I have your app, and I've been like plugging different things in. So
I appreciate you. I have a contest going with my app. If you post a screenshot of it that you're using it and tag me in it, I will enter you into a private app tester group. And when I get to 100, I'm randomly drawing someone to win my $2,800 course. So
okay.
if, you help me out, that'd be really great. But
Okay.
thank you so much for supporting. So Frederick Robert Anderson Jr. That's a what was messy is that
What?
I didn't see JR. I saw this.
That
And
was ugly. Yeah.
if you don't put the JR in there, did you see what happens?
Yeah.
Woo! That's a bit frustrating because
Yeah.
his name would look really good if it didn't have the JR in there. And that's your legal, and that's that one moment at birth where things just went pling, and you're like, why? Why? Like that would have just helped so much, even to the point where I'm like, screw it, I'm taking the JR off and like go back in there and you could still play with it and put something back in there. But let's talk about your life path. The 5 is going to have exhaustion, frustration, aggravation, energy. And then we see the 3s and you're like keeping it under wraps. Then we see the 8 and you're like disidentifying from it. So
Yep.
there's like hey, there's a bunch of, my house is burning down and I'm just sitting there watching it from the outside. And I'm like, I'm not even fully inside of my own energy. The challenge here is that you've got a massive, like the 5 is like a big tank of jet fuel and the 8 is like a spaceship. So in between this 3 energy of let's have fun, there is a time zone to create massive levels of wealth. Being born in 65, help me out. How old are you today?
54.
So you've got basically about a year left before you can, less than, you're about to be 55.
In a couple of months. Yep.
A couple of months. So I'd like to think that you've spent 27 years here. You're never just going to lose it. But I'm glad that we're clicking this in before your 55th birthday, because this is the tail end. And this is enough to, just to be fair, of being, I'm in such a fight with the self that this can feel like life doesn't even want to be an option, or staring down the barrel. And that feeling of massive level depression can show up, especially when we see in this side, fights myself or fights the self, lack of the self-love or self-worth, and then lack of the intelligence, lack of embodying your own intelligence, that feeling of I'm too smart for this shit. And you really are. And that's a big, massive challenge. So I'm glad that we get a chance to do this together. Let's rebuild the name. I know I started giving you weird looking letters, but you've been using the app. Did you find something that works or feels really good?
Well, listening to you break down the numbers and then plugging numbers in, because you've got the heart symbols and you've got the dollar sign symbols, and which is different than kind of how you're speaking here. And so like the 685 with my Frederick Robert Anderson Jr. it didn't come up horribly here, but again, breaking it down the way you did, Fred R. Anderson came up with lots of dollar signs and a couple of hearts, but it doesn't include the HQZs or the A or anything like that. And even my business name, I debated about whether House of Frederick Incorporated or House of Frederick Corporation. And Corp it comes up differently on your app. It's like a whole lot different than Incorporated. So I made the wrong choice there. But what about Fred R. Anderson? What is that saying to you?
So,
it seems boring to me.
Well, the thing is that like I would rather have something authentic
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm looking at Fred R. Anderson, I have a bias towards this because this is the exact challenge I was dealing with in my name. I had a crappy looking name, and not to say that yours is crappy, mine was crappy. Okay, but this was like, it sucked because I had the power, but I wasn't using it. And I also had a challenge in my original name. But when I took a spin on my name that was authentic to me, it allowed me to access business, spirituality, and wealth. And when we take a look at your chart, this is the more serious side. You're like, well, it's a little boring. I'm like, yeah, because you're a really fun guy. This is like a great guy to crack jokes with. You're gonna have an intelligent sense of humor, and this is a lot of fun. So there's a lot of good sides to this, the enjoyable vibration that says this is good, this is fun. And then Fred R. Anderson is more like, I want to get things done, and I want to have a more serious approach. So this may be a deviation from where you show up as a vibe inside of your birthday, but it will still allow you to access mature levels of wealth. And it's not bad because with those threes, you kind of skipped the aging conversation. And heading into 55, you don't feel it, you don't look it, you're not acting it. And that's a challenge because the three's like, I have all the time in the world. And the eight's like, shit, I should have spent some time getting serious. I had so much fun. Now I got to get serious. And so you're somewhere in your 40s, really, but you're like 15 years out of it already. And so it's interesting to see that. And you're going to stop now. Now you go back to being the Peter Pan vibration of just having fun, enjoying, no big deal. And it's nice.
Well, you remember in my texting to you, after college, I started using my middle name because I'd heard that, people, when they try to manipulate you in sales and things like that, the sound of your name is the sweetest sound. So they try to say it over and over. So I said, I'm just going to use my middle name, which is unfamiliar, and people won't be able to manipulate me. Sure. So half my life of friends is Fred, and half my life is Robert. And now I'm starting a new business and trying to do this. So it didn't work out as it should. And all that stuff that you were saying at the beginning totally resonated. I've been single my whole life. So the whole college, like single traveler, never committed, always taking care of people, never taking care of myself. All of that stuff really resonated.
I'm glad that happened. Fred is good. When I look at Fred, we see that fighter, leader, and connection, like that warrior, but also balance. Robert says, I want to take more of it's the difference between these two. So we've got Fred showing up here, and then Robert showing up here. So depending on which side shows up, one side wants to be a bit more ambitious, one side wants to be a bit more slow and steady, wins the race. So, I'd like to think that they were right. Sales has always been a really negative sort of connotation around that, because you're right. People would say your name just to sort of like, and it's true, because when people use your name, it's like they got you. And so this is why inside of what we do, we want to make sure that when your clients go in with you, that they're going to feel good about what they hear and see. But powerful vibration. You've got two roads. One says, let's run. The other one says, let's just walk. We'll get there. But one wants to take its time and be more methodical. The other one says, I don't want to listen. I just want to run. And that's kind of like between you, because if you're like, well, half my life I've been going by Robert, half my life I've been going by Fred, and you get a chance to decide which one's really more authentic for you. My son's middle name is Robert, and we call him Robbie. And it's funny because Frederick is in a balanced vibration. Fred is. Robert, Rob, Robbie with an IE. They're all balanced. So Robert is a more intelligible name. It's much more powerful in a much different level of vibration. But also, for all of us here, something that we don't do in a group session, your middle name is your soul karma. So when you take this middle name thing on, you're actually expressing more to the universe what you came here to this planet to do. So you a fun in the sun kind of vibe of Fred and your birthday. And then Robert says, okay, be nice and gentle and, make this thing work properly.
F. Robert is how I signed my name my whole adult life. But that really came up bad on your app. And
Yeah, no.
So, but the idea was I was going to be Frederick or Fred to my friends and Robert in business, but it all got mixed up because my business people ended up being my friends, and so on.
That's good. Frederick Roberts also not bad, but it doesn't have the same vibration we need. See,
Right.
Frederick Robert Anderson. Oh my God, that's such a good name. And so is that Dad's name?
It is, and my mom, he didn't want me to be little Freddie, and he didn't like being Freddie Spaghetti and all that. So, but my mom named me after him.
Now I
And,
want spaghetti.
yeah, right. So, yeah, my father didn't want it, but then he fell in love with having a little him around. So,
And that's like big shoes to follow, because Frederick Robert Anderson is like, keep your rules together, have some discipline, grow a backbone, be patient, loving, caring. And you're like, now I got to live up to this. And when you put the JR, it's like, pling, and just like flings you off into just the wrong direction. So super annoying. I'm like, that's a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, people have always, I've heard several times that Frederick Robert Anderson Jr., that's a name I could vote for. And I've always like been, yeah, that's, if I saw that, like if I didn't know anything, but I saw it on a ballot, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds good and strong. So, so with you, even now though, Fred R. Anderson or Robert, either one works with you.
See, can we just do Robert Anderson? Just try it. That's another one that works. So like, you got like, it's like the one level of stuff that doesn't work, but then you go one level deeper, and suddenly we find all of these treasure troves of names. Robert Anderson, Fred R. Anderson, Frederick Robert Anderson. They all do work. So no wonder you're frustrated. Like, no wonder.
Who am I anyway?
Yeah. Exactly, right? And it's just like, geez. I'd say at least you go Fred R. Anderson, because this vibration is the all-star. And this is, I don't need to choose. I've got my business. I have my deeper sense of who I am, and I connect. When I took this name on, I found the love of my life. Yeah. So, that you could be ready for that. I'm not sure if that's like a conversation.
When I'm looking at it, I'm reconnecting to my old identity. Yeah, Fred R. Anderson is who I was for the longest time. And then I tried to create this facade for business and success and professionalism. And I have always felt like I've lost a little something. So
just to be fair, Freddie Anderson also like, come on, like, you're like, this is power zone. You're hiding. That sucks, because you got massive level of power here. And we're like, yo, any direction we go in this, he's got a name that works. You remind me of Katia before. It was like every single name seems to work except for the ones that were just like sort of given out to us beforehand.
Right.
Yeah. So you got some self-finding to do, I guess.
Okay. Well, you and I should probably go deeper then.
I would. And then this kind of brings me to my point. I'm deducting the cost you guys pay to work with me. So having this understanding Robert, understanding Fred, Freddie, Frederick, all of the different nuances of all of the different things is super important. But to really fall in love with what you've got is a big deal. And especially when you kind of move into any different way and you can use it. Sorry, this one should be up here, right? Yeah, we see that they're vibrating, and that kind of messed up. So like, you've got power inside of there. To go through this very powerfully is a really big deal. But we've got two sides to you. There's the college version of you, and then there's the big dog version of you. And in case you're like, I need to step up, and Freddie Anderson is like, whoosh, like straight up, this is a power zone to wealth. And even like mine.
Really? Even more so than the 876 at Fred R. Anderson, the Freddie Anderson is really the popper?
The one that I have is Bobby F. Perihar. It's my easy, ready to go. And then I have Balwan Francisco, which is my actual legal name, and it shows up more higher up. So you got a couple of different ways that you can load your vibration out. One being Fred R. Anderson, just keep it nice and easy. And then when you're ready to step up and ramp up, let's say I find my wealth, I find my love, I find myself, I repair who I am. Now I've got a stable ground to run into, Freddie Anderson when you start to grab some of that confidence back. Because this vibration here, it's like it's going to be that socially awkward feeling of, I know I'm good and I'm big, but I can't quite express it. And when I try to find the words, they don't come. And your intelligence is like, I've got it. I know I have it, but I can't quite pour it out with a gentle hand. Fred R. Anderson is like, I could do this with my eyes closed. I'm fine. And then once it starts to rebuild itself, then, you know, you've got something to work from or grow from within there.
Well, and so as far as my Facebook called and the business page, social, so I keep them identical, Fred R and Fred R, or
I would. I do.
Okay.
When it comes to House of Frederick, that's like not good. So we
Right.
want to change. You said by adding corp, it would have been better.
Yeah.
So we go House of
And I spelled it that way because my father had a business back in the 80s, and that was the name he used. So as sort of an homage to him, I named my company that too. But it failed in the 80s, and maybe the name had something to do with it because I gave it some life, and the business that I've been using it for so far has failed. So.
Well, I'll tell you this, that vibration there is not a business vibration. It's a spiritual, intuitive, connected, deep sense of non-communication. So not expressive to wealth. It's like, I don't need wealth. I'm abundant already, so I don't need to make anything happen in business.
It's the opposite of what I want.
Yeah, not so. How about if it was just incorporated and we were to do the whole thing? Incorporated, still no dice. So I would say House of Frederick Corporation would be good. How about corporation? Even better. If you went from INC to CORP or corporation, right, you go like good level all the way up to the top. So I would consider, you know, starting a new business.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. And yes, but for your business page, since it was the same, I'm like, well, I'll just write out the other one just to give you a second level vibration. But Facebook call name, Facebook business name, this is the one you want to use.
Okie doke.
Okay, and let's just make sure I change you here as well so that you can get with it. And we're going to go Fred R. Anderson on your Zoom handle. Oh, it feels like we're putting the world back together again. It really does. I appreciate
it. Thank you.
I look forward to connecting with you.
All right.
Okay, so we've got Zoe. Wow, this is awesome, guys. We're at the 2-hour mark. So I appreciate you guys and your patience. I appreciate you guys so much for being here with me. We've got 2 more to go. And then if anybody wants to hang around while we go across a couple questions, I don't mind to spend the next hour with you guys. So, but it shouldn't take us that long to go through Zoe and Paul. But Zoe, if you want to unmute yourself, and then that way we can have a chat. Hello, hello.
Hi, Bobby.
Hey, we got a nice party going on in the background there.
I know. I'm in a cafe. I didn't really have a choice. So
that's okay. Yeah,
can you hear me okay?
It's a little tough, but I appreciate you like being with me. If you want to just mute yourself until you have to unmute, but if you do need to say something, you can quickly just unmute yourself. So I've quickly put you on mute. But I'm glad you're with us. You can hear me okay. We're good to go. If you need to chat in instead, it's fine. But I appreciate you for being here. Okay, so this is absolutely powerful. Let's take a look at this. 7. Okay, so we have another. This is very similar to Patia's vibration. Same numbers. Did you guys notice that? But completely different birthdays. Like completely different birthdays, but they all come back in together to have the same vibration that shows up. So the 7, we've got a psychic energy that shows up. Now you were the lucky one because when we came to Patia, she had her adult and her child energy mixed up. You have a child energy as a child and an adult energy as an adult. So Zoe's like, oh, she's my sponsor. There you go. See, this is what happens. You find vibrations that are going to work with you. It's cool to see that. But so we've got this one side of you, okay, Zoe, that shows up and says, deep and quiet. And then there's another side that shows up that says fun, loving, social, charm, expressive. But the problem can be the self-doubt that shows up in here. These are not ego, look at me numbers. These are very much about, the 3 says, I want them to feel good. The 7 says, I don't need to, don't worry about me. And then the 7 says, that would be selfish to worry about me. I want to take care of other people. Even when we look further, and you're born as Colleen Marjorie Elsinger, the vibration here, it sacrifices the self. You can't see how powerful you are. And there's a massive level of power on one side. Zoe Marjorie Cavillo now shows up again, a suffocated sense of self. So we can definitely feel that you're there for others more than you are there for yourself. That's a common thing that happens inside of our lives. Not, we all have to deal with this kind of stuff. So I can only imagine you must have had light bulbs go off when other people were having their charts read. But that self-doubt, it's like look, when I see negative ones, I throw you a blindfold, and you're like, and while you're blindfolded, you're like, okay, what's the surprise? And then while you're blindfolded, I take out all the mirrors in your house, and then I'm like, okay, now keep being blindfolded. You're like, I can't see anything. I can't see myself. Yes, now go and build wealth. And then it's going to be challenged to find things. It's going to doubt your own step. You're going to feel like, what would you do if you were blindfolded in your own house? Suddenly everything would be a mystery. And you'd be like, I don't know, it's going to find things. And, oh, there's the couch and there's the table. And, you would end up having to walk through blind in your own life. And that's a challenge because you're also very loving, caring, giving. And we would imagine that other people are going to show up in your life to help you. So it's like triangulating your position by having other loved ones around to support you. It's a very powerful feeling. But I'd like to say there's a strong level of psychic energy that shows up in your chart as well. Like you just know stuff. And then it's magnified by your levels of love. Now we need to fix this. So I wonder how we're going to rebuild this name. Let me know. Do we do just Zoe Cavillo, or do you like Marjorie in there? I could add a letter to all of this. Or what we could do is we could take a look and just see where this stuff comes in. I know you're muted, so I would like to say at least this. Like when we take a look at Zoe Cavillo, we're starting to move up a little bit. And if you were to take, because this works, 584, but it's still a little short. It's not something I would give you. Then we go up a little bit higher, Zoe M. Cavillo, and we go up to the 898 vibration. That's super big, right? So we go Zoe M. Cavillo, shows up here in the big level vibration, Zoe M. Cavillo. How about if I show up with just Zoe Marjorie? There would need something there, like an X or an O or an H or a Q or a Z. How do we have those numbers show up? They don't. Okay, so you could take something like, where is it? 358, 538 right there. So Zoe H. Cavillo, right? Or sorry, no, that was Zoe H. Marjorie. So you could hide the H and Marjorie somewhere in there. That's easy to do. But you wouldn't convince me to, I have had one, I did that. So what about if we were to take
Bobby?
Hey.
So the self-doubt thing is definitely a huge deal. And I don't want the letter H because of the last relationship I was in, where he was wanting me to do everything that he said. And when I would rebel, he didn't like it.
So H stands for hell no.
Basically, I don't like that letter either.
It's 111 as we say this. I'll kind of add this is that it doesn't matter if the letter works. If it's got an experience tied to it, it's good and dead to me. Okay, so I'm not going to make a weird letter there. So Cavillo is the last name you do want or don't want?
I'm not that attached to it really.
So would you go back to Zoe Elsinger?
If it was way better, radically better.
Okay, well,
if it's just moderately better, I don't know.
The way that it would be way better is if it would look like Zoe O. Elsinger. Okay, so that one shows up there. There's also X, H. No, we're not going to do the H. You could do something like this. We'll delete that one. Zoe Q or Zoe Z Elsinger. That one also works. And what about Colleen? Are we done with that one? Or is that something that might want to come back?
I don't really know how I feel about that. If it's way better, maybe.
Okay, well, let's find out if we see something cool. I feel like just to be fair, there could be something going on here. I'm just gonna take these out. So, Colleen M. Elsinger. Like, you've got a powerful looking name that's authentic to you. It doesn't need to take a manipulation. So just in case that one starts to come up back for you, how do you feel about that one?
Well, I thought you said that that name was just about self-sacrifice, or is it
With
just
the-
when Marjorie spelled out?
Well, yeah, it's just when Marjorie spelled. When you take the letter M, it now suddenly moves back into balance. So that one would, I'll leave that there for a second. What about even just Colleen Marjorie? Those are some sweet tunes in the background. I feel like that's like a very like
Yeah.
lounge.
Yeah, I'm in a coffee shop.
Yep. So let's go. How about just Colleen Elsinger? No. Okay, it was missing something. You would want to put, if you were to put Colleen Elsinger back, I'd say put the M. But if we're gonna keep Zoe, and then we're gonna do, let's see, Zoe, and then you could do, let's try a couple of these. Zoe Colleen. No, you need a BK or a T. Then let's try Zoe Marjorie. You need a Q or a Z, or you'll need an F, an O, or an X. How about Zoe Cavillo? Looks good. With the Zoe M Cavillo, still looks really good. Do any of these really poke out at you?
Let me see here. Okay, so Zoe M. Video works. And then what did you say about Zoe Marjorie?
Zoe Marjorie. Ooh, that looks really good. Hold on. I found a new one. Zoe Marjorie Elsinger. That one's got some massive level vibrations of balance. Like, that's a good one. How does that one strike you?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do like my maiden name. So what is the vibration of that?
The vibration around here holds like this is really dear to my heart because this is my last name. I'm a life path 2, and 6 and 8 are wealth numbers, and 2 and 6 are love numbers. So we get a vibration here that shows up for partnership, to help people grow, to mentor and coach people, to bring them to a power, and also to generate wealth together. So this is like, let's build a team. Let's build a team together. So when you guys are entrepreneurs, if you can have 6, it shows up for family. If you have 8s, it shows up for business. And so there's this connection to think, oh my gosh, we're part of a business family. And look how many of you guys are taking 6s and 8s. Like, it's big. And there's a value inside of there. No offense to Ashley and SarahJaneWorley.com, LA Norvig. You know, obviously you guys are powerful as well too. Not to say that you're not going to create a family, but the fact that the 6s and the 8s come together, especially Zoe Marjorie Elsinger, it kind of like, it's a mix between the new version of you and the old version of you. And it really starts to pull these pieces together in a big way, because you have 6 in front of you and you have 8 before you. So it was like this challenge to think the 2 best pieces of you were kind of split between 2 spaces. And now we go back to Zoe Marjorie Elsinger, starts to bring back the vibration. And just in case you're thinking, oh, I don't know, the 7, you may have to sit with it. There could be, oh, it's just too many options and I don't know which one I should take. And that's okay. That happens. That's like one of those things that we have to deal with in the 7, to think, I'm not sure which is the right order or which is the right one.
So Bobby, so Zoe Marjorie Elsinger is definitely an option. What were the other ones that were good?
So let me just take this one out so that I can put it here. So Zoe Marjorie Elsinger, and we have 628. So we'll just leave that as a placeholder. and then we'll continue onward. So then there's Colleen M. Elsinger, which again has the 8 and the 7 in it, so we like that. And there's also Zoe M. Cavillo, which shows up as master levels of wealth. So, depending on what your vision is, if you definitely have one, have you identified with what type of a business you're looking to create?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely love helping people and communicating with people, and I love like the self-expressive aspect of the business and posting on Facebook. I have noticed some perfectionism creeping in on that, but if I go outside and exercise a lot, that gets better, I've noticed. But yeah, I really want to help people, but I am tired of the self-sacrificing bit. That really came up in my last relationship. He was just so dominating and he wanted me to do everything his way. And it was really damaging in some ways. Like I tried to be strong at times, but it was very rough. So I don't want to be self-sacrificing anymore, period. I just don't.
Yeah, you need to dominate on you. And it's tough. These numbers here, the 7, the 3, the 6, it's like, it's okay, or no big deal, or I'm loyal, I'm faithful, or no, it's all good.
Right.
A lot of that, like, like it wants to just be like moved to the side. Whereas that's going to be super annoying for Colleen Marjorie Elsinger. You're like, I hate that. And yet the birthday's like, oh, it's okay, I didn't mean that. I mean, I don't hate it. It's like, right. And now you take on a bigger vibe that says, stop it. No. I'm going to be the parent on this. I'm going to be the owner on this. I'm going to write my own ticket. Or if you're dreadfully angry about it, Zoe M. Cavillo says, that's sex. And I'm like, but you use the word love too many times. I'd say that Zoe M. Cavillo is a bit outside of the scope. Because it's more like, let's change the world. Colleen M. Elsinger, Zoe Marjorie Elsinger. It's more of that loving vibration of I enjoy it. Like, there's love and there's care in there. So I would say that it's an easy tie between the two. And I think that Zoe Marjorie is a bit easier to digest because people know you as Zoe now. And if you use that more often, it's easier to take Elsinger back as opposed to Cavillo. But what's Cavillo? Is that just a nickname or is that another relationship?
Yeah, that was my former husband.
Okay, so then that would be even more powerful to take Zoe Marjorie Elsinger and say, no more, I'm denouncing that vibration. Let me just take a look at Cavillo really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not working. I would say Elsinger is much more powerful. Elsinger says, I'm independent, I'm calm, I'm quiet, and I want to generate wealth. Cavillo says, I'm going to give, and I'm just going to pretend like everything's okay. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Based on that alone, we've identified that Zoe Marjorie Elsinger is probably the way to go. And if you wanted it even shorter, I'm just going to see what that would look like. Zoe, you could take the letter Q or Z, or even X or O. Zoe O Elsinger would work, but we're splitting now.
Okay, are you there?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm not fond of the O. Like I'd rather have Marjorie, I think.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the process of deduction that we have to figure out how, which one works the best for what reason. But this is really what we do in a personal session where we divvy up every name and we see the vibration power of where it shows up. Because we can make any words work with the right amount of letter, but it has to feel right. And if you're reclaiming your voice and who you are, Elsinger is a good vibration. It actually helps in a really big way.
Yeah.
So that's my personal opinion.
Okay. So Zoe Marjorie Elsinger sounds good. And then the Zoe M. Cavillo, how did you say that was different? As far as...
It is all based on the global vision of change. So when we see a vibration like that, it's not so much about I love expressing or I love this feeling of like how we're doing the family feel. It's more like I'm ready to cut through any BS and I'm ready to step into the fire and whatever should be burned will, and whatever survives will survive. So I'm more into Zoe Marjorie Elsinger myself, unless you're, because the 7, you're like, ooh, that sounds a little rough. And I'm like, yeah, it really is. And it's not to be taken for the the weak, not the weak, but the light. If you want to, it's not for the weak-minded or the weak-hearted. You want to make sure that you're already looking at millions of dollars and you need a vehicle or a path. At least Zoe Marjorie's like, I could do millions, but I also want to have love in my life too.
Yeah, and that's what the Elsinger brings in.
The Elsinger vibration kicks it back into there. And also the reason why I call it, I've named it to you because I know you're going to take it. The reason why I call it God is because the word God shows up as a 628. So this is good. And in case anybody's watching, that's my birthday, 628. Well, I like to think that that's I love the vibe. And it's my last name. So I like the way that shows up.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think that sounds a lot better. And then I guess I would just change my business name to the same as well.
Yep. Inside of your business names, guys, there is you go to the About, and then inside of About, you can change the name. So it's in the About version of your business fan page. But yes, change it. Sometimes they'll maybe mess with you for a little bit, but if that's the case, appeal it, get in touch with Facebook. Otherwise, just make a free break and get a new page.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. All right, Zoe, it was a pleasure to connect with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. So, Paul, let's bring you out. I'm going to just mute you there, Zoe. And Paul, if you want to unmute yourself. I appreciate having you here with us, my friend. I'm glad that you decided to come up with us. I just wanted to let you guys know, because this was, it was a couple of minutes before we started. He's like, I'm in, and then, oh, shoot, there's a cost. I'm out. I offer payment plans, okay? So my payment plans are super flexible. I live and operate from a level of abundance. It's a slightly higher charge, but the way it works is that I give you a PayPal invoice, and you just chip away at it when you can, every week or every 2 weeks or every month. I have some people who owe me from last year, 2018, and I chuckle at it because I'm not even in the least bit frustrated. So in case this means that we get to work together now and build your wealth now before you can afford it, watch the universe show up and say, well, let's work together now. Here, he'll do the work for you right now. And if you're still in that space that's I still can't afford it, you can't afford to do it for free. There's a challenge in your wealth story in a big way. And I'm glad that Paul was like, you know what? No, let's do this. I'm glad that you decided to do that. I feel that there's something big here for you. And I appreciate you being here with me. So just to be fair, it's Jerry, not Gary, right?
Yeah, Jerry is the name pretty much my parents called me for most of my life. And I kind of have a similar story to Fred, if that's okay, Fred. Where I got tired of people that would do that. Gary, Jerry, I've gotten different versions of it, different spellings. So about 12 years ago, I said, well, my dad went by his middle name, which was Paul. I had 3 older brothers that all went by their middle names. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try the social experiment and see what happens. And the analogy is a name tag job, where when I was Jerry, my name is Jerry on my name tag, people would come up to me and say, excuse me, sir, can you show me whatever? When I changed it to Paul, I became their best friend. Hey, Paul, I've been looking for you everywhere. So it was instantly a recognition. And it was easier because I've only had maybe 2 people in the 12 years I've done this that have actually asked me if it was Paul. Nobody asked me how to spell it. So I did it for a social experiment. It worked for me. Like I said in my chat just now, I actually signed my name G. Paul LeBlond. The only reason I still use Jerry on my Facebook is because half of the people that I grew up with know me as Jerry, and the other half since 12 years ago know me as Paul. So
cool.
Quick story.
At least have a bunch of names you can choose from. At least this is something to work with.
Well, I have 2 middle names.
Yep. And so Paul, Harry, and Paul Harry. So there's 3 vibrations showing up in there. And you're the only one here who has double middle names. It's like having an extra luggage, and there's more vibrational energy to deal with. I had a guy who had 4 middle names. And like, it was nuts. Like, you take dad's, granddad, great granddad, and great granddad. And when I was working, he's like, man, it feels like I'm carrying like a bag of bricks with me. So I can appreciate the way that would show up. When it comes all together, there's a massive frustration here. And I'll go through this lovingly. First of all, the 5, change is feeling good. So if you're Jerry and you go by Paul, there's a feeling there that says, I've broken free from something and I've gotten a chance to change into something else. That is good. Then we take a look at these 3 numbers, 8, 6, and 9, and I look towards my wealth and my love, and it says 8, 6, and 9. Like, you're literally owning the 3 most magnetic and the most powerful spaces of love and wealth. So this is really challenging because the 5 is like, I can't find my wealth story. I want to break free. And then the 8, 6, and 9 says, I want to create a powerful level of wealth, love and care for others, impact. And the 5 can just feel angry. Like, I want to do something about it. And I want to fight for others. I want to fight for others' wealth. I want to fight for the love for others. I want to fight to serve other people. There's a lot of that passion and ambition that get a chance to show up. Here's the challenge. Jerry Paul LeBlond, or even Gerard Paul Harry LeBlond, these 7s show up and say, don't say anything. And, it's like, what? I've got all of this passion, ambition, chat. I want to do stuff. And then the 7's like, shh, be quiet. And then I'm going to lose my voice, or I'm not going to speak up for the way I need to, or I'm going to have a challenge in my expression. So we're here to fix it. I'd like to think that there may be a legal name change for most of you guys, all of us, except for Sarah Jane Worley. Probably don't need to, but may come up one day, who knows. But when I look at this, I'm like, okay, we want to make sure that we get a chance to move this vibration over, because this is where it gets messed up. This is one of the most challenging things to ever deal with. Not only are you a little angry, okay, this is the 5 here. So, like, this is like the Hulk, okay? Don't make me angry. You don't like me when I'm angry. And then, sorry?
Is that why it's in green?
That's why it's in green, right? But the double 8 here, if you look at my app, it's like massive levels of broken wealth, like extraordinarily levels of intelligence that beat itself up or disconnect from the self. So this is the type of person who can.
It's 13:30.
You can make fun of someone without them knowing, and it's a feeling of like you're intelligent and can like that higher level of intelligence. People won't even know that you're smarter than them. That 7 is like, I'm surrounded by fools, and the 8 is going to be a feeling of I'm too smart for this, and that depression can kick in. There's a massive level of depression inside of these numbers because this is like the sharpest, most powerful blade, but there's no war. Or this is one of the most fastest cars, but we need a boat. Or, the most powerful plane in the forest. And you get the idea here that your power is not being executed on. To make matters a little bit more challenging, G. Paul LeBlond is actually really good, just so we know. It's not a bad vibration, but it still needs a bit of a boost in order to show up. That's a good name for a signature. I wish I had my wallet with me. I write that number 674 or 764. I write that on the back of my credit cards because I want to make sure my bills get paid. You put G. Paul LeBlond, and that's like putting a stamp and putting like a candle with a wax and like sign of the seal. It's a good vibe. G. Paul LeBlond, just so you know. Just in case you're looking to make sure that exists some places. If you're like, actually, I signed that off. You have a blog, right? So what is that? GPL LeBlond? GP LeBlond. So let's go. GP LeBlond is also a good vibe. So we're finding
with the .com.
Well, I'm going to put .com in it. I don't think so. No. So .com doesn't work. But in case you wanted to make it work, www.xyz. That's an easy code and this is the reason why I use them. But in case you want to make a website work and you're like, well, I don't want to mess up the name you gave me, then www.xyz, that's the code. But what I would do is I write these down just to make sure you have them. And this will only work for Paul here. GP LeBlond works. G. Paul LeBlond works. So those are going to be okay to use. And I say okay, they're not super crazy, but they are solid. Okay, so you can trust this. So there's trust in there. But when we go Jerry Paul LeBlanc, this is the inner attack. And I have this vibration. This is one, I should change it. It's actually like this. It's a challenge vibration that says, I quietly attack myself. I have a secret addiction. I have a challenge between me, and the 7 will be like, no, I don't. What are you talking about? And I remember I had a really heavy addiction to negative drugs, and I was, doing a Go Live, and the type of drugs I did would make you very excited, right? And like I was like sweating and stuff, and my friend would be like, dude, are you on drugs right now? And I'd be like, ah, and I'd be like, just laughing it off because I'm just really excited. And it would be a challenge because I didn't want anyone to know. And now it's funny because I actually talk about it, but this is that challenge that happens inside of us. I angrily self-attack myself and nobody knows. And this is like, we need to get out of this because this is just a quick twist on a portion of your name. So if you're okay, I mean, what do you feel more identified with, Jerry or Paul?
I'll answer to either one. It really depends on the audience, to be honest with you, because I'll go visit someone I've known for 30 years and they'll call me Jerry and I just respond. But lately, most people call me Paul. So
okay, let's put it this way. Jerry Paul H. LeBlanc also works. So you got another vibe in there that will actually work really well. And then let's see if we can find something else. We could do something like, I don't want to make it too long. So let's just try and see what happens when we do Jerry LeBlanc. Doesn't work as well. How about Paul LeBlanc? See, this is the one I would be using. I'd be going with Paul LeBlanc. This vibration holds master levels of wealth and master levels of love. And it also signifies the second, third round of your life. So to know that the 6 and the 9 show up for you, this ties everything together, Paul LeBlanc, and you actualize on even at the social experiment where you're like, oh, Paul sounds like your buddy and your friend. I'm like, that's my favorite Beatle. And, so it's that feeling of thinking, hey, there's a strong vibration in there. But I also have a friend of mine whose name is Gerard, and he's like, don't call me that. And I'm like, come on, man, it's your name. It's no big deal. Like, why wouldn't you want? And he's like, no, just like don't do that. And it's funny, he goes by Nick, and I'm like, what the heck? It was just such a crazy feeling to think that this name, people just, is there something wrong with Gerard? Like, it makes you wanted to take a look at it.
It's my trouble name.
Yeah, right? If you get in trouble, that's the one that your mom's like, Gerard, you're like, like I gotta go. But if I look at the vibe, Gerard goes this high, Paul goes all the way. So it's like a feeling of like, goes the distance. Even Jerry, it's a fighter name. This is angry. Jerry's like, fighter, I'm out of here. And I don't need to, I'm just frustrated.
Jerry Lawler.
Get out of here. So just in case you're feeling a bit more into Paul, I don't blame you. But Paul LeBlanc, now we're like, hey, it's easy, it's nice, he's your friend, he's going to help, he's a mentor, loves and cares, and underneath, that you've got some sharp tools. Like, this is a king. The vibration of that 6 and 9 is like, look, everything looks good, but if you piss us off, I'll show you Jerry. And like, I'll bring my Jerry up. And there's a vibe in there, and you are that fighter vibration too. So it's a fine balance, very, very fine balance to have that. I would suggest Paul LeBlanc, but of course we're here to rock this the way you want to. Can I just try Paul? I'm gonna try Paul G.H. LeBlanc. I just want to see. No, I wouldn't do that. How about G? No, I wouldn't do Paul G. LeBlanc. You did that one. Paul H. No. So Paul G. would be okay to use, but the best one would be Paul LeBlanc. How does that feel?
It feels natural, obviously.
It does.
Just to let you know your math, I'm 57.
Okay, good. So you've just entered into the I want impact, and I want to help other people in a big way.
Yeah.
So
I felt this. I think in my message to you was I've been feeling that I'm on this precipice of an energy shift, and I think this is what it's showing me now.
Good. Actually, nice little segue into what I'm about to share with you guys. I give you guys reports for 2020, and it's going to show you this change that you're going through right now. you went through it and now you're experiencing it. So just so you know, there's a really powerful numerology report that I'm going to give to you guys. And also Sunrise Health, you don't need to change that. Is that all it shows up with, or is there something else there? Like
I have kind of toyed with it because there are other companies with that name. And so I actually have Sunrise Health as a website. I also have Sunrise Health 8, the number 8, just for the differentiation from the other groups, but also because I like 8. And you mentioned earlier in the beginning where it's an upside down infinity. And it's obviously, I know this from the Japanese culture, that it's the most auspicious number that they have in their language because of what it represents in their culture. So yeah, Sunrise Health 8 is another version, and that's actually my Facebook business page.
Okay, so Sunrise Health works, but when you put the number 8 on it, it suddenly goes back off into non-wealth.
Okay.
So it's tough because it's a good number, but it doesn't work in the string of characters. It's kind of like, oh, I've got a plate, I'm at the buffet, and I'm just going to pour all the good stuff on it, and it doesn't matter how much good stuff you have, it's going to fall over the edge of the plate. So Sunrise Health on its own works. If you were to put 8 on it, I would put if you were to put the way that would work would be a Sunrise Health 8 would work, or A8 or 8A would work in that vibration. But just on its own, it's like when, it could also be A1 or 18, right? Or whatever, like to add that 1, or 8S would work, 8J8. So there are ways of moving it around in case you really love the 8. But without it, it doesn't work. Also, or you don't need it, sorry. Also, www.sunrisehealth8.com also works.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me check my, because I can't remember the exact name. But you can keep on talking. Just to let you know, the Sunrise part is a tribute to my mom. Just real quick. When she passed away, she was an artist. And so I basically, to help deal with it, because she died in Surrey, and I know you're aware of Surrey. I used that God took her to paint sunrises, and that's how I kind of got through that whole period of my time.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, so I use Sunrise I like using Sunrise for the business name. So
that's a wonderful. I like to think, like, because I'm a certified mama's boy myself, like straight up, and that makes me feel very poetic to think that you could really put that together. And it's nice to think, you can get up early and watch mom paint the sky. Like, it's a wonderful, wonderful way of putting that together. So my heart and my blessing for you. And just so you know, like, I mean, I'm not sure how you guys feel about this, but the energy never dies. Like, you can't, like, nothing is created or destroyed in the universe. It just transfers state. So, mom is more with you now than she was even when she was alive. Now it's internalized. So just so that we should, and as well, it's also a really strong level of spiritual backup, because now you have a piece of your ego in the ether that can be like, Mom, help me out. And like, just send it in. Like, this is what I need. And then, it's like, that mom would do that for you. So it's a wonderful thing to have. Very, very powerful. I'm getting emotional thinking about it. So I appreciate you for that. But www.sunrisehealth8.com.
I think I had it expired. Obviously, with money issues, you have to pay every month to the people who hold it. But I'll take a look at it again.
Yep. Call upon. You just consider that to who you are and what it needs to be, so that you can start moving this money story back around. Because this one says, I need an abundance of emotional, loving levels of wealth.
Let me write that down.
Emotional, abundant levels of wealth. Yeah, that's what that vibration says. That it's emotionally charged, and that creates that electromagnetism that helps move itself forward.
Emotional, abundant level of wealth.
Yeah, emotional, abundant levels of wealth.
Now,
all right, guys.
just real quick, wealth could not only mean financial, but also in the loving space, right?
Wealth is financial, emotional, magnetic, spiritual, physical. Like, you get a chance to choose what your wealth really is. So for me, when I say wealth, I'm like, it could also mean the love of your life comes in. And when you look at Paul LeBlanc, this is like, I'm ready for my soulmate. I'm ready to own a best friend in romance. So just in case that's an angle, there's a reason why love and wealth are a big field for people. It's because we talk about your romantic wealth, right? Yeah. And so this is like,
I've never been married, so I'm obviously still looking for that.
There you go. Where do you look so young?
Should I still sign my name G. Paul LeBlanc? Or
that's a tough one, because Paul LeBlanc is really good, but G. Paul or Paul G. LeBlanc, it's like your word is bond. Like that's like Dune, like straight up. You're not messing around with that. But Paul LeBlanc is like, let's put it this way. If you owe money, I would probably sign the G. If you're making money, like you're signing an Enagic contract, I'd probably just put Paul LeBlanc. And like, depending on which one it is. If it's for your wealth, then put Paul LeBlanc. If it's for your debt and it's something you need to repay, then a contract like a car note or a mortgage, or, if it's an asset or an investment, get the difference?
Yeah.
So then put the G in there. It's like, I got to keep this shit together. That's like, put the G and then just Paul LeBlanc. This should make me money.
Okay.
Cool.
Creation and debt.
Yeah. There's the two different sides there.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Now we've come to the end. I know that we've got like just a fraction of us left. Everyone's like, I gotta get out of here. It's Saturday. And I know there's a lot of stuff to be done. So I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate you guys so much for everything. This was a lot of fun. You guys are obviously, some of you guys are going to watch the replay. My site right now is down. So, and also for you guys to connect with me over a private session, we'll have to organize the price separately, because it's, I'm going to give you a discount. So you guys have all paid $111. For some of you guys are going to end up paying $178 because of the payment plan, but I'm going to deduct that from the session that we booked together. So in case you guys work with me one-on-one, 60 minutes is usually $268, or if you pay for it long-term, it's $300. So I'll take off $157 from that, or $111 from that. So just in case you guys want to work with me, then it'll be a little bit cheaper to work with me for sure. Also, the 90 minutes is usually $400. I'll take another $178 or $111 off of that to work with me for 90 minutes. And for some of you guys who are going to work with me for 3 sessions, this is like a 3-session mentorship package. Usually it's $764, but if you pay for it over long-term, it's $900, and I will still deduct what you guys pay for me to work with me, because I would definitely suggest that this is a precursor over to a much, much bigger conversation that we get a chance to do and to get a chance to work with. And I appreciate you guys so much for being with me through this. This is awesome. I'm going to give you all written reports as well. I'm going to also invite you to the numerology alumni group. Tonight at 7, I'm addressing my team, my group of clients. So you guys are more than welcome to hang out with me once a month. I also do things like the parent alignment is going to come out soon as well. We got podcasts. I got an app. I'm out there on Facebook. I'm out there on social media. So I appreciate you guys being a part of my family now. You guys doing this together with me makes me feel like I've gotten a chance to serve you guys in a really big way. So I know what's going to happen next. You guys are going to have questions. You guys are going to be like, hey, Bobby, what about this? What about this? Download the app. If you can't, let me know. I will work things out for you. I'm here to serve you guys. But let's just make that really solid decision. You didn't spend almost 3 hours here with me for nothing. My app is called Bobby F. Parihar Numerology. It's in its infant stages right now. Sometimes it crashes. You can't put numbers in it. It will evolve, but for the time being, if it says it's good, then it's good. If it shows up in a 6 or an 8, it's good, but it's only on Apple. So for Android users, we're waiting until it gets released, but it's a powerful tool. But yeah, I have an Android phone and a MacBook Pro, so I'm right there with you. I can't even use my own app, so it's a difficult space to be in. But I love my MacBook, so I've got to get an iPhone now. It's weird, But I'll send you the link inside of the chat so you can get it, because I'm sometimes it doesn't show up. People are saying that. But what I'll do is I will go into the group chat right now, and then that way you can download I have it saved as a thing on my phone, so I can't copy it into here. But the link is in the chat, and I appreciate you guys so much for being here today. What I'll do is I'm going to prepare a replay for any of you guys who need it, and I will see you guys inside of my group. Okay. So thank you guys so much once again. If there are no other questions, I will let you guys go. You have a great rest of your day, and let's go crush it out there inside of business. All right, guys? I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.